Welcome back to Divisional Podcast. Today's Tuesday, January the 20th. Coming back to the podcast.
Hey, we're back. It is the day after the national championship game, which is hilarious because for college football. Do you know when the national championship game will be next year? 3 days. It'll be on the 27th of January. No, it'll be like a week and a half, because usually it's like February 8th. So it's like a week and a half. But again, the fact that the national championship game is so long after the end of the regular season is absolutely insane to me. And it's only going to get worse. And then it's bad when the NFL has had multiple rounds of their playoffs happen before college football has their national championship game when their regular season ends first.
Yeah.
This is one thing I hate to say. I have to give Dan Lanning some credit, is that he has talked about the fact that to do a big change to the schedule is to make week 0, week 1, and then go throughout, make it the whole season, and then not have a break in between anything, and you can end the season by January 1st. Which is kind of perfect, because you'd be able to have your season and have all of your Saturdays and not have to give anything up to the NFL. And now, as of what we're doing right now, we're playing our national championship game on a Monday.
Yeah.
It almost felt like it had no juice because, it's on a Monday. It's been 2 weeks since the last time we've seen any college football. And again, the game ended up being good last night. I think it was going to be well watched. I think the viewership is probably going to be really good too, because it's such a different team in Indiana, and then you have Miami being the other team. But I just think in general, changing that whole how everything's kind of scheduled that way, and then putting all the portal and stuff after that could also be a big deal, because the fact that teams like Miami and Indiana had to worry about trying to win a national championship as well as going to get players for the next year's team is kind of unfair. And now the window is for both of those teams, since they played last night. Now for the next, I think for the next week, I think it's the next 10 days. Now every other team in college football has an opportunity to go attack their players and see if they want to hit the portal, because there's nobody else's team is going to have their players enter because the portal's already closed. So I just feel like it's a really big balance issue when it comes to now every other team in college football has a chance to raid these teams as players. Again, Indiana doesn't have much to worry about because most of their players are now 24, 25, 26-year-olds. Same thing with Miami, too. I'm not going to lie. But they still have some young players on their roster that probably didn't play a lot that are now going to be looking for opportunities elsewhere, or money if Miami's not willing to give it.
Probably money.
Again, that might be Miami's problem. I'll talk about this before we get to the game, because Miami's trying to get a quarterback. They swung and missed on so many different quarterbacks in the transfer portal. And now, there's this one last guy, this dude named Darian Mensah, who played at Duke. They paid him $4 million last year to be their quarterback, and he led them to winning the ACC. So technically, it's money well spent. Duke won the ACC. He played at Tulane before, and then they paid him all the money to go play at Duke. And then now, literally the last day of the portal, which was last Friday, he entered at the very last moment he possibly could. Instead, he was entering the portal. And the rumor is that Miami is the team that tried to get him to do it. And let me tell you this, is that the valuation for how much they're going to give him to go there, if it happens, because again, he has to make it act like he has other opportunities to go search elsewhere. And then ultimately he'll pick Miami because it's the best place for him. They ultimately said it was going to be $10 million they're going to end up paying to get him there, to not only pay the man, pay his buyout at Duke, which is a problem because Duke's claiming that he just signed an NIL deal with them, so they're actually suing him to try to stop it from ever happening. Kind of like the same fuss that Washington put up for Washington. Nope, Watson. I forget the quarterback's name for Washington that tried to do the same thing, and they kind of threw enough of a fit to actually make him stay. But yeah. So $10 million total to pay him around $5 or $6 million, pay his buyout to Duke, get his sister a full ride athletic scholarship because she's currently playing soccer at Oregon, to get her to transfer over to Miami. Also, get him a house on a golf course in Miami to live there.
Yeah.
I think there's one other thing. And then like some car or something like that to get him there too.
Yeah. So why is his sister involved in any of this?
Oh, she has to, again, she gets to live in a nice place too because he gets to go. Not to mention he'll be able to be there with his sister. He'll be more comfortable.
Yeah, but she's already she's playing soccer at Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah. But she could be ass. Like she could be a walk-on or something like that. But no, they're going to have to give her a full ride scholarship.
I know. But soccer at Oregon. That means she's still on the team at Oregon.
Yeah. This is insane. It's this funny money. Like, make it happen.
Okay.
Apparently, Miami offered $7 million to Alabama's guy to try to get him to not go to the NFL instead and then just go straight to Miami. And he said no. So he's like, hey, I was at Alabama. I want to have my legacy be there, and I'll go off to the NFL. So, like, they tried. They were trying to get so many different people, and they all said no. Or they messed it up, and now they're trying to, now they have to overpay to get this dude there. Which is kind of hilarious. So, yeah, that was, and like I said, Duke is causing a ruckus. They're suing him, and they're trying to put up the same fight, pretty much saying, hey, he just signed a contract to stay here, and now he wants to try to leave, and we're not going to try to let it happen. So, I hope it works, because at some point, these teams have to put up some sort of a fight, because you can't just sit here and, these teams come with a bigger budget, and this is ACC on ACC crime. You can't even say, oh, this is just an SEC or a Big Ten team coming in with a huge check. This is within their own conference. And what makes it worse is that because of the new way that the ACC is doing their money, only teams like Miami, Clemson, Florida State, those are the only teams that are getting money for their playoff performance. So you know how, if any team gets to the playoff, all the money that they get from the playoff is actually split up amongst all of the teams in their conference. Mm-hmm. In the ACC, that doesn't happen. So Miami is getting all $20 million every single time they make each round of the playoff. And now that money goes straight to them. It doesn't have to be split up amongst all of their conference peers. And now that's a bunch of money they can go and give to a guy like Darian Mensah to get him to leave another ACC school. So now it's ultimately the deal that the ACC made to try to keep those teams there, because if those teams left to go to different conferences, the conference would pretty much die. Now they're using that as a kind of a launching pad to help hurt other teams in the process of all this. So I don't know. It's a very weird scenario, but it was just hilarious how this dude was saying he was going to stay, and then there was a big enough bag that came along with $10 million. It's crazy. And that's why this stuff needs to change, because there's nothing real about any of this. It's just hey, whoever can get the biggest bag here is going to probably get the guy that they want. And it's just kind of happening. It kind of sucks that way. All right. So now that I'm done telling you about the cool fact about this player potentially going to Miami. Let's get to the game last night.
Sorry. Sorry, you were talking about his sister, and I was like, no way they're okay with bringing somebody on that's ass, right?
Yeah.
She's not. She's a starter at Oregon.
Okay.
They're twins, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know if she's bad or not. I don't know shit about soccer. She got Big Ten All-Academic, which makes me think you might be ass. But she started in 18 matches. I don't know how many they fucking... I don't know. She plays. My bad. She started since she was a freshman.
But again, that kind of goes to show, why does it have to be guaranteed in this contract that she gets a full ride to go there? If she's that good, Miami would just take her without an issue. But it has to be written into a contract if he's going to go there.
Do you know how fucking soccer works, gang?
I don't fucking know.
I don't either. So I guess is Oregon a good soccer school or a bad soccer school?
I have no fucking clue.
Exactly. So what does it fucking matter? I don't know shit about soccer. You don't know shit about soccer. He just kind of wants his sister there too.
Yeah, no. Sometimes it can just be that simple. Occam's razor. Sometimes Occam's razor.
Across the country from each other, and he's from where? What did it say he was from again?
Well, he was where he was just at was Duke, which is in North Carolina. So they already were a whole country apart from North Carolina to Oregon. So
he's from California. So
okay, so she stayed closer to home while he's chasing the bag, going to these different places.
Yeah.
And now he can finally go to a stop. She can come along.
And they probably bring their mom as well.
Again, he'll have enough money if he's getting this free house on a golf course. There's probably a room enough for her.
I was curious, and I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I was like, I have to look into this just a little bit. She's not garbage. I don't know shit about soccer. Oregon could be dog shit at soccer.
Who knows?
I've never seen. I don't fucking care.
Exactly.
But I was like, sorry, I don't know why that's the stipulation that hit my brain of.
Yeah.
What? She also gets $2 million? Is that a lot in the soccer world? I don't know. It's not. Soccer makes a lot of money.
In college soccer, that's probably a lot.
If you don't know anything about it, then yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, but it depends on the school because the way they do like the allotments for like the money that a school can pay a kid, they do it by sport. So they pick whatever sports they think are like the most revenue generating, and then those so Ohio State picked football, basketball, men's and women's basketball, and then women's volleyball. Those are the sports that they put all of their money into when it comes to paying players.
They know ball. They know ball. They know ball.
In the Big Ten, they do a lot of volleyball is like a big thing, but it's bigger like a place like Nebraska though.
They know ball.
They do know ball.
They know ball. This'll sell.
Those women's volleyball players have real Instagram followers. You got to pay them to get them to go there.
Though. That's a real.
A lot of weirdos out there. A lot of weirdos. Just watching girls play volleyball and they're getting their rocks off to it.
Watching volleyball like during the Olympics is on. I don't like it. It's cool. It is really cool. It's really cool to watch them play. But I'm like, and it's funny. Guys, volleyball is cool, and I'd say more exciting because they score quicker.
Yeah.
But I think it's
balls go faster.
They go faster.
Yeah.
But watching women's volleyball, it's almost impressive how technical they're being.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually throwing out sets of what they're going to run. Mm-hmm. But I feel weird watching it.
Not heck. Let's not even go that far as go to like the Summer Olympics,
nope.
Where they have the beach volleyball.
Can't.
A lot of people become real experts at the sport.
Statistic for how many views the beach volleyball really gets, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like that's breaking some like the NFL. What a playoff game didn't get that many views. Well, what do we do?
That's probably going a little too far.
No. I'm gonna pull it up. You go on your next point. I'm gonna pull up how many views the beach volleyball got last year. You go ahead and keep talking.
Okay, talking about the game. Indiana Hoosiers have now won a national championship. They have finished off their perfect season going 16-0, beating the Miami Hurricanes last night by a score of 27-21. This is a tale of, in this game, Indiana played another perfect game where they, at least as perfect as they possibly could be. When Indiana came into this game, their whole plan was to play good defense, to run the football, which they really didn't do as much of as they probably wanted to, and to make sure that they don't give up any explosive, and when it came down to it, Mendoza would go out there and make the plays necessary on third down, on fourth down, doing stuff like that.
Okay. My statement was false.
Yeah, obviously.
It's still for the NCAA championship, the recent one, right? Drew over 10 million viewers.
Okay.
10 million?
Yeah, is this for the Olympics or this is just...
This is college volleyball.
There's women,
There's women's beach college volleyball.
Oh, that's, yeah.
10 million.
Yeah, that's asking for an issue.
That's crazy.
Yeah. If that's a true number, then yeah, a little bit weird. A lot of weirdos out there. Nothing I'm into, of course, but you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Just so you know, that would have been the third highest viewed game during Week 14 of the college football.
Is what it is. back to the game. Mendoza did his thing. He didn't necessarily have the biggest explosive day. 16 to 27 for 186. I think he had a touchdown pass. No, he didn't have any touchdown passes. He had a touchdown run, which is a big one. But other than that, like he didn't necessarily have an explosive day. But guess what? It's just at the end of the day when they needed some plays, and they needed it on third down, needed them on fourth down. That's exactly what he did. He pulled through pretty much every single time. And then you compare that to Miami, where in the first half they really couldn't do anything offensively at all. I would say their defense kind of came out and did play very hard at first, but at the end of the day, it almost felt like Miami defensively was just trying to play tough and not necessarily do anything to really lock Indiana down. They slowed him down for sure, and it was crazy on the first play how one of the Miami defenders came and managed to hit Mendoza right on the chin, and then he ended up having the rest of the game with a bloody lip because of the hit. It probably should have been a flag, should have been called, but it just wasn't in that case for some reason. But the defense for Miami really played tough. They made it hard on Indiana for the most part, but at the end of the day, when it came down to it, Indiana's way too efficient. They're way too good on third and fourth down. Mendoza pretty much makes the play every single time. You had a blocked punt by Indiana blocking the punt for Miami that led to a touchdown. That was a big deal, especially I think that happened in the third quarter. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not crazy here. Let's see. Touchdown. Was that in the fourth? Nope. When was that touchdown? Punt. Or was that in the fourth quarter? I think that was in the fourth quarter. But yeah, there's a blocked punt for a touchdown that helped out Indiana in this game. And then at the end of the day, even with all that stuff happening, Miami was a lot more penalized than what they have been throughout most of this playoff run. But again, that's just like, it's almost like a regression to the mean because Miami had played so perfect in their first few playoff games that they had played. Carson Beck was doing the check down Charlie he was doing the perfect check down Charlie for all three of the playoff games that they had played up until this night. And their running game had been doing very well. But the problem is that Indiana was like, hey, we're not going to let you run the football the way that you think, way that you want to. And at the end, it all came down to, even though with some of the big plays that happened, Mark Fletcher had like a 50-something yard touchdown run. Carson Beck did have a touchdown pass. And I think that was more towards the no, it's towards the end. That was Malachi Toney getting the run and all that, and making the play himself.
How much Miami paying him to stay?
Malachi Toney probably a decent amount of change. He's their young 18-year-old. You know they call him Baby. He has the nickname Baby Jesus. I feel like every time I've ever heard somebody have the nickname Baby Jesus, they're always good at football. Like they're like amazingly good at football. That might be a stupid thing for me to have said, but you know it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But they're paying him a lot of money to stay there. And it came down to at the end where Indiana got the ball all the way down the field, and they had a chance to go for a touchdown. Couldn't get it. Managed to go get on fourth down, and it was like with around 2 minutes left. Yep. And Indiana had a chance to either go for it on like 4th and 5 at around the 17-yard line, or to kick the field goal and go up by 6. And for whatever reason, they've been going for it on fourth down all night. And Curt Cignetti at that point said, hey, well, I'm just going to kick the field goal, go up by 6, and just rely on their defense, which is kind of weird because it felt like every time that Cignetti had a chance to be aggressive, he was. But for whatever reason in that moment, he just like said, hey, I'm going to turtle up a little bit, kind of do what I wouldn't normally do and just rely on my defense to get the job done. And it almost backfired. Carson Beck early on, it almost felt like it was about to go 3 and out. Well, 4 and out because they had to go for the touchdown. On the third down play, they managed to draw a roughing the passer call because one of the Indiana players went and hit him right after he had thrown the football, and that gave him an extra set of life. But then it came down to Carson Beck having to hit a bigger pass down the field. I'm not sure why he was trying to be so aggressive at the end of the game because they had plenty of time. I'm not sure if they had timeouts left or anything, but they had plenty of time left. All he had to do is hit a shorter pass, and he tries to go for it all. Shorts it because the dude has a noodle arm, and one of the Indiana players kind of fell off the route that he had and just went and picked it and ended the game. But that's most of the reaction. That's most of like the recapping of the game. That's why I kind of want to get to more of the macro of it all. Indiana pulled off one of the more improbable seasons I've probably ever experienced as a college football fan. And heck, in sports, like the way I think about it, like what other feat kind of matches what they had pulled off this year, where Indiana before last season had started, they had the most losses in all of college football. And Curt Cignetti comes in last year, gets them to the playoff in year one. And then in year two, replaces the quarterback that he had in year one to year two to get Fernando Mendoza, and takes him not only to have him win a Heisman in his one and only year at Indiana, and then takes him all the way to win the national championship. Like that, this is a huge feat by Curt Cignetti, and I feel like he deserves a lot of credit for this. And one thing I will say is that I am kind of mad that Ohio State didn't do their jobs in this playoff and beat Miami and get all the way back to face Indiana again. I will say I did get a little bit of a sense of closure by this game because the only two losses that Ohio State got all year was against both of these teams, and they played both of these teams pretty tough. And at the end of the day, I just feel like that gave me a little bit more closure because I'm sitting there like, maybe it maybe just wasn't our year. It doesn't take away the idea that I'm like, hey, we probably could have won this national championship if they did what they were supposed to do. But, you know, it is what it is sometimes. Sometimes it's not your year to go win it. This was Indiana's year, and they did it from start to finish, and every challenge that they had in front of them, they knocked it over and did it with, not necessarily in dominant fashion, but they did it emphatically. And I have to give them a lot of credit. Seriously. It's like, what is this? Like, this may be a story that 20, 30 years from now, we're going to be talking about how we were in our prime sitting here able to watch Indiana pull off one of the more improbable national championship seasons to have ever happened in all of college football.
Yeah. Something like this probably won't happen again. Indiana will probably go straight back to being mediocre. I'm
not going to say they're going to be mediocre because I do think they're going to have – this might be the 2020s Clemson. Do you know Clemson had the 2010s where it was pretty much them and Alabama for years and they were kind of going back and forth? This could be Indiana's chance of like they can have this like little bit of a resurgence with Curt Cignetti here for like the next 3, 4, 5 years where they're in contention and they're nearly at the top of the Big Ten and they're battling with Ohio State and Alabama and all these other like this could be Indiana having that type of resurgence for a bit just like Clemson had. I'm not going to sit here and say that because I think Cignetti is a really good head coach.
I agree.
There are some people that's going to like say he's like the best coach in college football. I'm like, maybe I'm not willing to go there because he did it again. The improbable turnaround that he did, I think you might have to give him a little bit more credit for. So maybe there is some credence to instantly vaulting him up to the best in college football over guys like Ryan Day and Kirby Smart. But I don't know, man. Like he's a really good coach. They got really good dudes to come in the portal. Nick Marsh, a guy that you're very familiar with, decided to go there, and they're getting guys there, and they're also doing a little bit more high school recruiting as well. And this is the time and now they're getting Mark Cuban, a Indiana graduate. He's cutting them a $10 million check. So like now they're getting money infusion that they didn't have before. Huh?
That's it? Ain't you a big billionaire?
I just think not necessarily, because here's the thing. Do I think it's a one-time check type of deal? I don't think so. Because if they keep coming with like different ideas, like, "Hey, Mark, we need to get this such and such player to keep us going."
$6 billion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You don't cut me off.
I have no doubt he'll probably give more money, but the fact that he's willing to drop a $10 million check without any questions, you know, it's funny. He did kind of jump in at the very end when things were really hot. He wasn't trying to be in when things weren't going as well. He wasn't like around the program last year. And then they have an improbable season this year. Now he wants to jump in. He wants to be at the game wearing the Indiana shirt. I'm like, man, maybe you're just trying to you're showing up after the sausage was made and like trying to have a nice little breakfast instead of trying to get in while everything was still cooking. But no, man, I just have to give Indiana a lot of credit. They're having their moment. Cignetti has his moment, and I have to tell you this. I was listening to Fernando Mendoza after this game because they're giving him so much credit. Again, he deserves it. Wins the Heisman, goes and wins a Natty. And we were listening to him talk because he was like, he's a good old. Do you know he's the first Cuban-born player to win the Heisman Trophy?
Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, he's from Cuba.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But this is where it got me while I was listening to him talk to his interview after the game. Do you know who he reminds me of? There is a specific NFL player he reminds me of, and it made me realize why I find him so off-putting. Even though he's a very good guy, he has a kind of like a good old country boy type of vibe to him. He reminds me of Curt Cignetti himself, which is why I find it so off-putting. I'm like, man, he's about to have a great clips ad as soon as he gets to the NFL. He'll be the head quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders after he gets picked the number 1 pick overall. I'm not saying he's not as good as Kirk Cousins. He's better than Kirk Cousins, I think, talent-wise and, like, physical attributes. But, like, I get the same vibe of, like, you know, just trying to be the nice guy and doing everything right, always positive. And I'm like, as soon as I thought about it in my brain, I'm like, it was like an explosion. I'm like, oh, that's why I don't like him, because I hate Kirk Cousins. I find it to be very disingenuous. Maybe it's more real from Fernando Mendoza, but that's why I find it so weird coming from him.
I guess I don't really care about the person's personality. I just care if they're good at football or not.
You care. You can't say you never care about the player's personality, because you care about Joe Burrow's personality.
Yeah, well, that's Joe Burrow.
Oh, sorry. He's the exception, not the rule. I get you. All right, fine. Miami, I'm going to give them a little bit of credit here. They built, even though I call their coach a blockhead a lot, and he did have a moment at the end of the first half where he was mismanaging the time and all of that. So a little bit of that did come up in this moment, in this game last night. But throughout the playoff run, he got the team ready. They were playing very good football. They kind of found their identity even with the 2 losses that they had in the middle of the year, and they were following it to a T. He had them playing better. They weren't having as many mistakes when it comes to penalties and up until this game. And actually, they really had a really perfect postseason up until this game last night. So I have to give them a lot of credit. Carson Beck, the guy they paid, $5 million to go from Georgia to there. He did what he early on in the season. They were trying to let him throw the football all over the place, but by the end of the season, they had changed their offense around, did a lot more running, and they'd really turned it around to really they were playing their brand of football all the way until the end. Until they needed Carson Beck to, have a game-saving drive at the end of the game, and he couldn't do it. But up until then, they had Carson Beck on a leash, and he was doing exactly what he needed to do, and he was being a game manager and making the plays when they had to be made. So Miami had to give them a lot of credit. They played very good last night. There was a point in last night's game where they could have kind of just said, "Hey, it's not our night. Let Indiana destroy us," like they had done everybody else throughout the postseason so far. And they came back. They scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to try to make it close. And it just didn't manage to happen in the end because Indiana was just able to make the plays when it truly mattered most. But I will say that this is probably the most competitive national championship game in the college football playoff era. I think, because most of the other games in the championship game, they've all been either blowouts all together, or it was you could just tell, obviously, there was one team that was a lot better than the other. Yeah. But this is a very competitive game, and it was a good game from start to finish, and I have to give them a lot of credit because these two teams did what they were supposed to do last night, and they put on a show.
I agree.
Even if it wasn't a light show when it comes to points or anything.
But it was a show.
It was two good teams going at it, and one thing I do want to say, because I talk about how these teams are old, both of them are old, because it's now a thing to talk about how Indiana has a bunch of old players, but they both have old players. Miami actually has, on average, an older team than what Indiana does. So don't necessarily get all blinded by Indiana having all the old JMU players. Miami has a bunch of old dudes, too. One of their best players, their defensive end, Mesidor, he's 25 years old. So both the averages are around 20, 21, 22 years old, being the average age of these teams. So it goes for both ways. I feel like that's the way of college football going from now on, because having a young team in college football for the foreseeable future doesn't make any sense, because you're paying everybody. So why would you pay a young dude that you may not know can play when you can pay an older guy that's been in college football for multiple years, making plays in the weight room and all of that? So I think in general, some of the top teams are all going to be looking for trying to get older players that are just stronger and more developed in general to kind of help their teams fill out, rather than looking for the next great high school player that's going to be willing to sit for a year or two and develop before they're able to get onto the field. So, but no, all in all, great game last night. Great season overall. And Indiana, all the flowers in the world. Curt Cignetti. He automatically, because he won the championship last night, he's automatically vaulted when it comes to his contract. He'll be a top 3 paid head coach automatically based off winning the national championship game. Good on him and good on his agent to make it happen, because that's like ultimate belief in yourself when he signed a contract extension in the middle of the year when Penn State came calling. So the fact that he was able to get that written into his contract was a big deal by him. And again, Curt Cignetti, from what everybody says, is a very like self confident, cocky type of guy. Heck, one of the first things he said when he went to Indiana was, "I win, Google me." And the fact that he believed in himself enough to know that this moment can happen and right then into the contract and got it done is what it is. And he did an amazing job. So credit to both those teams last night for having a great game. And that's it for college football. You got anything else?
No, I didn't really watch the game last night. I just didn't care.
I knew, because I'm sitting here talking about myself. Usually if you have watched even a little bit,
I saw the clip of
you'll jump in.
Are running in.
That was a great play. That was more of a Heisman moment than anything he did in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State, when that was considered his Heisman moment. So I'm glad he got to have that moment where I think it was like 4th and 5 from like the 12-yard line, and they run a quarterback sneak on that play, which is kind of ballsy.
Yeah, it was, but
he made it happen, man. He made it happen. Do you know he actually tried to walk on to Miami when he first was going into college, and they told him no?
It's crazy.
Because he's from there, obviously. He's from Miami. So he tried to walk on, and they told him no. That's why he ended up having to go to Cal. And then the story goes from there. He ends up transferring to Indiana, doing all that he's doing this year. But yeah, it's crazy enough how Miami's having to pay all these dudes millions and millions of dollars to come be their quarterback when they could have got a guy right off from their home turf, and he would have walked on, not even have to give him a scholarship to play there. It's funny how time goes sometimes. So that's it for college football. Would you like to know the top 3 teams, odds-wise, to be the best teams next year, to win the national title?
Sure.
Odds to win the 2026. So when it comes to odds to win the 2026 national championship, number 1 is Ohio State at plus 600, is the early favorite. Notre Dame's behind them, Oregon's behind them, and Texas all at plus 700. And then you have Indiana at plus 800, then Georgia at plus 900. Those are the top 5. So the fact you even get a team like Indiana in there where they're like an early favorite to start the year.
But they won't be. They're going to be bad.
No, they're not.
They're going to be bad.
They got one of the top transfer quarterbacks this year to go play for them next year.
Ooh.
It's Hoover, Josh Hoover. He was the quarterback at TCU.
Who?
Josh Hoover.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
I'm going to say even the fact they're getting this early love going into next season is a big deal.
I guess, bro. I guess.
All right, let's get off of this. Obviously, Jace didn't pay attention enough. Again, I get it. I get it. You were pretty much off on college football up until like pretty much ever since Michigan State was awful. So, it is what it is. Let's get to the NFL. For the NFL, we had, the divisional round games this past weekend? 4 games in total. 2 of them were great. The other 2 were god-awful for their own separate reasons.
What 2 were great?
Huh?
What 2 were great?
Sorry, competitive.
What 2 were that?
The Bills game, Bills and Broncos was competitive.
Nah.
Yes, it was.
Nah.
And so was the Rams and Bears.
That one was dumb. But that one was good. But the Bills Broncos was fucking retarded.
I know where you're going with saying that.
Yeah,
but the game in general was competitive.
Yeah, it was not competitive. It was stupid.
Okay, can we want to talk about the games in order? Or do you have one you want to start with first?
I don't know, Joe. What do you think?
I think you want to start with talking trash about Josh Allen.
I watched this whole game. I was at an engagement party, still watching the game.
I know.
The whole time.
You made it very clear.
I did not miss a fucking minute of this game.
Actually, that's the first game anyway.
I know. That's why I didn't.
That's the first one chronologically. So we'll talk about the first one. Bills, Broncos. This one was on Saturday. This was the early game.
Put that motherfucker on fraud alert.
Denver Broncos beat the Buffalo Bills 33-30.
And suicide prevention alert.
It's not going to go that far. Again, Josh Allen does get to go back to having a great wife, obviously, having a child. And he gets to have a great life otherwise. And he's buku bucks paid. So I feel like he has other things in his life that is
less paid than everybody else since he plays in New York.
Are you talking about taxes right now?
Yes, he's less paid than everybody else.
I'm just saying he still makes a ton of money.
He does.
Still has a wonderful wife, Haley Steinfeld.
Like less than Dak.
Well, again, you're splitting hairs here.
No, fuck Josh Allen. Less than Joe Burrow. Way less than.
Doesn't have to go that far. It ended in a little bit of a controversy. Denver Broncos won the game 33-30 in overtime. You go ahead. You go ahead. Okay, so this game started. It was early on. It was a pretty competitive game. Denver. I can just see your face. Your face right now. You just have a face where you're ready. You're like a cougar ready to pounce.
I'm just listening.
I hate you.
I ain't even said nothing yet.
God,
What's there to hate?
The game started a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Field goal drive by Denver. You have there was only 2 drives in the first half. Both teams are taking a lot of the air out of the ball, kind of having long developing drives. Field goal drive by Denver with like 7 minutes, and then touchdown drive by Buffalo with like a 12-minute drive. No, sorry, 7-minute drive with like 12 plays. Ended up being 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, Denver kind of exploded, scored 17 points, including 3 points at the end of the half where Josh Allen kind of had his opportunity with like 20-something seconds left. They were trying to be aggressive, and Josh Allen had, the dumb play. Fumbles while he was trying to run, which is why it was crazy that they were trying to run because they had no timeouts or anything. So as soon as he decided to run, the half was over. Like there was no plays after that. And he fumbled. He was holding the ball like a loaf of bread. Ball got taken out of his hand, and then Denver Broncos was able to take the ball and then managed to get into field goal range and hit a field goal without any time left to then go up 13-10 instead of the half being tied 10-10. The second quarter was messed up by the fact that why am I forgetting the running back's name? James Cook. In that second quarter early on, they were still up 7-3, and they were in the red zone doing their thing. Like they're about to go on a nice little scoring drive, and he fumbles the football. That takes away points from their drive, at least 3, if not 7. And then that leads to the Broncos having the scoring drive, and then Buffalo gets it back for a 3, and then the Denver Broncos ends up taking the ball back and scoring the touchdown drive in order to tie the game up. And I feel like that's what made Buffalo want to be a little more aggressive, and that's what led to Josh Allen getting the fumble like he did. Is that on him? Yes. Would you have liked for him to not make that mistake? Yes. Heck, even if that scenario, if you were trying to go and really get points in that drive, don't run at all. Throw the ball away and give yourself another chance to have another play. But like once you decided to run, you have to be very conservative with holding on to that football and making sure you don't give it up, because that gave up 3 points to Denver, and that was potentially the difference in the day. And that was what's the word I'm looking for? That's a referendum on the whole day for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. As many good things as Josh Allen did in this game to get them to the point where they had a chance to win it, it was the turnovers that Josh Allen had that really ended up being the difference in this game. He had, 3 picks and a fumble? No, 2 lost fumbles and the interception. 2 interceptions. So that I have to blame him for, because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. The one thing, even though you're trying to win this football game, is to not turn the football over. And this was a thing in all the games that were played on Saturday and Sunday, was that the team that had the most turnovers in that game lost. And unfortunately, Josh Allen on his side had the most turnovers in this game. And especially when you compare that to Bo Nix, who played a lot better of a football game, only had one pick. Like, so that's the difference here. And Josh Allen, 25-39, 283, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Also had the 2 fumbles as well, so the 4 total turnovers. And as much as the running that he had too, so like as much as he did the Superman thing, which has been his whole career, the more Supermaning he has to try to do, the more untrustworthy he can be with the football when it comes to turning it over. And that's what did him in this game. And I also have to give the Buffalo Bills defense some credit. They were playing very tough, and they played a lot better than I thought they would. But at the end of the day, it was Denver Broncos making enough plays to win. Bo Nix, 26 of 46 for 279, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Denver couldn't run the football in this game at all, so like that wasn't necessarily helpful for them. And it was Marvin Mims, 8 catches, 93 yards and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, 4 catches, 53 yards. And R.J. Harvey had 46 yards off 5 catches. Lil Jordan Humphrey, 2 catches, 33 yards and a touchdown. Again, insane how you name your child Lil Jordan. And I'm black, and I think that's like a tad bit too far for normal life. And then their lineman, Frank Crum, also had a touchdown catch in this game, which is a very good play call the way they had it. But I had to mention it because it was just such a... Again, every team practically has a play where they have a lineman go out to catch a pass. But it looked good. They made it happen, and he caught the ball and ran it in for the touchdown, and credit to him on that. But it came down to it. First half, that big turnover at the end of the half that gave Denver Broncos a free 3 points. And then in the second half, Josh Allen throwing those picks that he threw were a big deal. The one pick was totally on him, where it was double coverage down the field with Curtis Samuel, and Josh Allen decides to throw it for some reason. It didn't make any sense to me, why he was trying to do it. There was still plenty of time left. There was no reason to keep pressing. They were close to field goal range at that point, and he decides to push it down the field, and it didn't work out. And that pick was totally on him. There was no reason to throw the football whatsoever. And then you had the pick at the end of the game that I think that was an overtime that he threw that pick. And did you think that was a pick in the moment? I struggled with it, but then I heard something over just listening to different things throughout the day, and this is the one that kind of turned me on it, because I'm like, I wasn't convicted enough to like be mad about it at all, and I wasn't like saying like, oh, this is like a big deal, because I'm like, whatever they called on the field, there wasn't enough video evidence wise to overturn whatever they called on the field. But the way that I heard somebody talk about it was, if you think that was a completed pass, then you also have to think if there wasn't a person there and Cook goes up to catch the pass, goes down, has the football in his hands, and the ball comes out, then you also have to think it was a fumble if there was no person there. And there was no way I was thinking that's a fumble if there was no guy there. If James Cook Brandon Cooks didn't hold on to the football, just surviving the ground. Yeah. So I was convinced by that logic, and I'm like, hey, okay, fine. You have to get behind the fact that it was an interception. He didn't have possession of it. I do think the NFL does take on some culpability when it comes to like not being able to relay that and being consistent in that fact when it comes to what's a catch in those moments there. But in that moment, they got it right, and that was the difference in the game. Mm-hmm. And Bo Nix did what he had to do. He did break his ankle. That's like one of the more frustrating parts, is that they win the game, and it turns out in the last drive, Bo Nix had fractured his ankle, having surgery. He won't be playing for the rest of the postseason. And now he's going to be having Jared Stidham, his backup, starting in the AFC Championship game for the Broncos. Yep. And then after the game, Josh Allen's crying, literally sobbing while he's doing his post-game presser. Their offensive lineman, Deion Dawkins, heard what Josh Allen said. When Josh Allen, I have to give him a little bit of credit here. He does own it and says he let the team down. He didn't play well enough, and all those turnovers are on him. Dawkins gets all upset and says, hey, it's not all on him. He didn't let the team down, because, again, he's just trying to be a supportive teammate. And this is where you come in and you talk about how trash Josh Allen was.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, thank God.
Unless you have anything else to talk about the actual game itself, Broncos played great. Bo Nix, of all the quarterbacks, before you get to the Josh Allen hate, of all the quarterbacks that played on Saturday and Sunday in the NFL, Bo Nix had the best day. And even though Bo Nix was not awesome, he just didn't turn the football over. And that was enough because every other quarterback did. Mm-hmm. So now you can get to your Josh Allen hate, and we'll have this little argument because I know it's going to be an argument.
It doesn't have to be an argument. It deserves the hate.
Doesn't have to be. And before you get to it, one last thing. The people that are so quick to take up for Josh Allen need to take a chill pill. If Josh Allen, after that game, was emotional and talked about the fact that he was willing to take on, because again, if there's one thing you can say about Josh Allen, he is very self-aware about where he fits and where he's at. And every time you ever ask him a question, he's going to be honest. And in this moment, he was honest. He was emotional about it because you could just tell that, but not only him, but his team thought that this was their opportunity. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Lamar Jackson. He is the best player in going into the playoffs. He is the best player, best quarterback at the most important position. And you can tell based off his reaction after the game that they thought that was their moment. Mm-hmm. He picked a very bad day to have the game that he had. Yep. And he was honest about it, and he wore it on the chin for it. But every other commentator and sports talk guy that took up for him, they need to get their stuff in order, because I'm just like, you can't always come to Josh Allen's defense. Sometimes you just have to own when you had a bad day, and Josh Allen had a bad day, and he owns that. And if you were going to be the guy that talk about how talented Josh Allen is, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks you've ever seen, then you have to also let him take on the blame when he has a game like he did, because if he just doesn't turn the football over, they win that game. Mm-hmm. Broncos got like 13 points off turnovers, and that's all on Josh Allen. Like, again, the one pick, okay, fine, but he underthrew that ball to Cooks. Like, that was the difference. If he would have just threw it in front of him, that was either going to be incomplete.
Dawson Knox.
He also had a chance at the end of regulation. He overthrew Dawson Knox for sure. If he would have just hit him right on the numbers, that would have been a touchdown. And he also skipped the one ball to Khalil Shakir. It was like a screen pass. If he would have just thrown it right to him to his chest, that would have been a touchdown as well. That would have ended the game. So he had opportunities to win the game when it comes to scoring touchdowns, and then he also turned the football over in bad spots, and spots that hurt his team. He has to own that. Mm-hmm. And now you can be a Josh Allen hater.
Can I?
Yeah.
Josh Allen is a fucking fraud. He's a fucking fraud. He's a fraud. I can't, dude. All right. He goes out there and plays like shit. The door has closed on him. I don't think he's never getting a Super Bowl. I can almost confirm that with you right the fuck now. He is never getting a Super Bowl.
I can't say never.
He is never getting a Super Bowl. By hella high water, Mahomes is never leading the Chiefs. He's never winning a Super Bowl. It is as simple as that.
It's hard to argue that right now after the game that he had.
You can't argue that. He is never winning a Super Bowl. He has never made it past a fucking divisional round. And
true,
he's not as talented as the other guys who are above him. He's not as talented as Mahomes, and he's not as talented as Joe Burrow. They do things that he can't do.
He's just as talented, which makes that much worse when he has games like that.
He's not. If he's just as talented, he would have done the same thing, if not similar things, what they've done. But he can't do those things.
You can have the talent and not take advantage of such talent.
No, he's not as talented. An actual quarterback don't miss those throws. That throw to Dawson Knox, fucking crazy. Dawson Knox had 10 steps on the guy behind him. Dawson Knox was so far in front, by the time Dawson Knox had jumped and landed, dude didn't even catch up to him yet.
True. Surtain was about to hit him, though. So, like, you had to put the ball on him. It wasn't like he was wide open.
Have you seen how Dawson Knox has been hit all night?
Oh, no, for sure. He would take it. But I'm saying that like that wasn't like a wide open. He was just standing there by himself moment.
I understand, Joe, but I can't, dude. I can't. He has been. This was his greatest and best moment to win this football game and to go to the Super Bowl. I truly believe that this was his year to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. The main nemesis that he's had over the past few years is not in it, obviously being Patrick Mahomes. The other guy that had given him trouble, Joe Burrow, is not in the playoffs at all. Heck, even though Josh Allen owns Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, Lamar Jackson is not in it. And then you're facing guys like, Drake May, who was a young guy wet behind the ears. And then you're looking at the other quarterbacks. You're looking at Bo Nix, Drake May, and C.J. Stroud.
And he lost to fucking Bo Nix. He lost to the least talented quarterback in the playoff. I understand the Broncos are a hard team to play. They have an outstanding defense. Bo Nix was fucking mediocre as fuck.
He didn't turn the football over. That was the main reason why he played so well.
Josh Allen, he was just straight up not taking care of his football.
True, yeah.
A top 3 quarterback take care of the football.
Yeah. He has to own that. That is something he has to own.
He played like dog shit.
Yeah.
And they lost.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow don't play like dog shit in that situation. Mahomes don't play like dog shit in that situation.
That's true.
No, we've seen it. And Mahomes, in spite of his team being absolutely fucking horrendous, he's still the best player on the field. There was times where I was like, I don't know who the fuck's the best player on the field. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Josh Allen. He was fucking abysmal.
He was bad. No question.
And I hate it. I think he's the most overhyped motherfucker in the NFL because top 3 quarterbacks don't do that in this situation. That's why Lamar's never been in the top 3 for me. Because he fucking crumbles under pressure. So does Josh Allen. When this motherfucker tries to be Superman, you know what happens?
He turns the ball over.
He fucking sucks.
Yeah.
He fucking sucks.
True. I will give him...
When I have to lift above to be better than whatever else is happening around me, he can't do that. He is unable to do that. And even when he can do that, there's always someone better. Which is why I don't think he's that good. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's an elite quarterback. I don't think he's one of the greatest. I don't think he's one of the best playing right now. He's probably top 5, top 10. But there's definitely 5 motherfuckers I'm taking over him every fucking time because I know they can do it at the end of the day. I know at the end of the day they're going to be able to do it.
That's where I disagree. I agree with everything you've said up until that just now.
I think C.J. Stroud, despite what has happened to him over the last 3 years, way fucking better quarterback.
He has some soul searching to do.
Like that's fine.
It's hard to say after the day he had.
I agree with you.
He was bad.
I don't know if you saw him playing. That ball is snapped. There's a defender in his face. I'm
totally
throwing this bitch away. I'm throwing this to whoever the fuck's down there.
Yeah, but the bad decisions. Again, when we talk about Josh Allen making bad decisions,
I agree. And like
CJ had that in spades.
Like I just said, at his best, CJ Stroud's a way better fucking quarterback.
That's projection. Again, we've seen more out of Josh Allen in his career.
I know that. I know CJ Stroud's a better quarterback at his best. I've seen it. You've seen it.
You know I'm a CJ Stroud stan, but I'm not. I can't be there right now. No, I can't be there right now. Not with you. I can't.
But you weren't fighting me. At his best, CJ Stroud's a better quarterback. Fuck, Drake May's turned out to be a better fucking quarterback. Go ahead.
Drake May has played like ass all playoffs,
and who's in the division round? Who is in the AFC Championship?
Again, yeah, but he's faced 2 quarterbacks that have terrible days when it comes to turning over the football.
What are the 2 teams he's faced?
He faced the Texans.
That's an elite defense.
Yes, but when CJ has four picks and a fumble, not good. That again,
the Texans were ripping that ball out. They were getting the ball a lot too.
I get that.
They had so many chances.
So Drake May had that game where they turned the football over a lot.
I'm taking Drake May over.
I can't agree with that. I can't.
Whatever you want to say. I think there's 5 motherfuckers I'm taking over Josh Allen right now, guaranteed.
I don't even want to go down that road because we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that.
I'm taking Stafford over him 100%.
Okay, fine.
I'm taking Mahomes over him 100%.
Fine.
I'm taking Joe Burrow over 100%.
Okay.
See, I don't know quarterbacks like that.
Are you saying health notwithstanding?
Fuck, I'm taking Sam Darnold at this point over that nigga.
Are you saying health notwithstanding?
Yeah, health notwithstanding. Joe Burrow's a far better fucking quarterback. I'm taking Sam fucking Darnold over that nigga.
Can't do that.
No, that's crazy. You see how Sam Darnold play? Stone cold killer.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't a stone cold killer in that game. He had a torn oblique. He wasn't even really all that good in that game. It was just San Fran had nothing for them at all in that game. Don't do that.
Oh. And with that torn oblique, he still threw less interceptions than Josh Allen did.
I get it. No, for sure. Josh Allen had an awful day.
None.
Again, but he didn't have to do anything. He just had to hand the football off.
And he still had a touchdown. He still went 12-17.
I get that, but I'm just like the amount of weight that is put on Sam Darnold's shoulders is way less than Josh Allen. Because without Josh Allen on that team, Josh, the two things can be true at the same time. Josh Allen being a great player is the only reason why Buffalo got as far as they did in the playoffs. If Josh Allen's not on that team, they're not making the playoffs. They're not being one of the best teams in the NFL. But he also played like ass in that game.
Dude, what you're saying, I hate that fucking statement. If Josh Allen's not on the Bills, they're on a playoff team. If Joe Burrow's not on the Bengals, they're on a playoff team. If any team doesn't have their fucking quarterback, guess what they aren't? A fucking playoff team. Stop saying that stupid shit. Stop saying that stupid shit. That is the stupidest fucking argument you have ever given me. You take the quarterback of a football team and take them off the team. Guess what they're not doing?
Does Joe Burrow have help?
Yes.
Josh Allen doesn't have the same amount of help that Joe Burrow has.
Neither does Mahomes. Most years Mahomes don't fucking have that.
Mahomes has the best coach in the NFL.
Isn't that what Doug McDermott was supposed to be?
Nope. They didn't believe that's why they... Sean McDermott.
Doug McDermott's a basketball player. My fault.
Dougie Fresh. He went to play for the Bulls.
He did, and he played for a lot of teams actually.
He plays a lot in China.
Yes, he's a 3-and-D guy.
But no, I just think Mahomes has the best coach in all of the NFL. A great play caller and all that. Again, and Mahomes had his years when he had the Tyreek Hill big play offense that helped him a lot to where I don't have to be perfect. I can just hit the bomb to Tyreek to go win the game.
You were talking about Joe Burrow's help. You're right.
Joe Burrow has more help than Josh Allen does right now.
Josh Allen has a better defense. Joe Burrow has to be perfect.
No, okay, he has a tad bit better defense. Their defense top 10.
Have you seen
the Bills' defense was top 10 this year? Yes, but it's a bunch of like.
What was the Bengals' defense?
Yeah, nothing.
32. Where were they last year? 31. Where were they last year? 29. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but when Joe Burrow's out there healthy doing his thing, guess who he has to throw to? Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
And he has to be perfect. Every game's still a shootout. Every game's a shootout. He still has to be fucking perfect because every game's a shootout.
Is Jamar Chase is number one receiver?
He has to be perfect. If Joe Burrow throws more than one interception in a game, we lose that game.
I understand, but same thing with Josh Allen. If he has a bad day, they lose too.
No. He had a fucking awful day and they were still competitive. Because his defense was getting stopped.
No, because, yes, in that game,
his defense were getting fucking stopped. So he had someone to rely on when he was able to be bad. If you've seen it, Joe Burrow throws more than one interception in a game. Let's go, 2 years ago, my bad, last year. 9-8. 4,800 yards. What was it, 48 touchdowns? 9 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions against the Browns, and we lost.
Yeah.
He threw 2 interceptions against the Broncos, and we almost lost.
Right.
Any game he threw more than 1 interception, we were going to fucking lose. We lost 8 games.
Yeah.
And in most of those games, he put up 40, and we still lost by more than 2 touchdowns. Because he has to be perfect. Because there's nothing to rely on. When the ball goes back to the other team, the Bills have a solid enough defense where they can get the ball back.
They can get a stop. Yes, I totally agree with that. I do.
So Josh Allen does not have to be perfect. He was not perfect in this fucking game, and they were still close to winning it. And he was selling the fucking game. He
was far from perfect. Not even close to perfect.
No, and he was selling the game.
He did.
That defense played great, and he was selling. He was selling like a motherfucker. They lost that game because of him. They were competitive in that game in spite of him.
Yeah. In spite of is probably a little too strong.
No, in spite of him, they were competitive. He was doing jack shit to keep them competitive. That defense was the highlight.
He did still throw for 283 and had 3 touchdown passes.
And how many interceptions?
He had the 2 and then 2
you
fumbles.
Said they scored 13 off of his
turnovers, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that just negated everything he fucking did.
It negates a lot of it. No, I agree.
What that means? That means he was a net fucking negative. He was negative for that game.
It can't be a negative, but yes.
What is it in baseball? Wins above replacement. If he was a fucking pitcher, they would have replaced his ass.
They wouldn't have.
No, they would have replaced his ass.
They had no. Again, without him, they have no chance even before the game starts.
With him, they clearly had no fucking chance because he was doing nothing.
The game was so competitive, but
he threw his first touchdown in the first fucking quarter. What did he do after that? Please tell me.
After that,
what did he fucking do?
He still had 2 other touchdown passes
and 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
So he had more turnovers than he had touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he literally was losing them the game.
Yeah.
So he literally did fuck all.
Without the turnovers, they win the game.
Oh, so he did fuck all. That whole game, he did fuck all.
I just feel like there is a middle ground between fuck all and he was awesome, and there's a middle ground here.
No, the middle ground is you go 3 interceptions, 2 turnovers. You go 3 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. That you did something. You had a positive. No, you did fuck all. You had 4 turnovers and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
One of those touchdowns in the first quarter. When was his next touchdown?
Third quarter.
How many turnovers did he have by then?
It would have been the 1 because he threw the pick. He threw the picks in the second half. I'll look at the play-by-play right now. The interceptions that he threw 1 in the third quarter, and then he threw the 1 in the fourth quarter. No, sorry. 1 in the third quarter, and then the 1 in overtime. Those were his 2 picks. And the fumbles happened in the second quarter. Yeah, both fumbles he had happened in the second quarter. Because the 1 fumble he had was like the bad one right before half, and then the other one was the one where they're getting close. Hold on. That fumble was James Cook's. Sorry, 1 in the third at the end of the third quarter. There you go. It was a strip sack. I don't blame quarterback for strip sacks, dude. Unless, again, you're sitting there in the pocket.
Motherfucker, when it's the most running quarterback and one of the most quarterbacks that runs the most, if you are going down, you tuck the football.
No, I'm talking about when you're trying to make a pass and your arm is out and the guy comes in and knocks the ball out of your hand as you're trying to make a pass. You can't he's trying to throw the football. Again, that's just is what it is.
I've watched quarterbacks pull that bitch down because he's going.
Oh yeah, again,
pocket awareness.
Yeah, for sure.
He clearly had fucking none of it.
I'm just.
So you know what that means? That means by the time he had another touchdown, he had done fuck all.
Look, man, everything he deserves. He deserves all the bad, he did. He deserves to own that.
Of Josh Allen, because he did fuck all. All of his points were negated by all of his fucking.
Not all of them, literally by numbers. 13 of the 21 points that he scored, and that's just saying if you just want to go hard, I threw those touchdown passes and I fumbled the football or turned it over. 13 of 21. That's not a net negative. If you're just going hard numbers. But again, I get what you're saying. He does. Again, you're talking about because you've been very much in the camp of he's been overrated. And again, to a certain degree, a lot of people love Josh Allen because of his personality and then don't want to look at the times that he has a bad game where he's being honest about himself, but nobody else wants to. Nobody else wants to be because they're like, I like him. I feel sorry for him. I totally agree with those that fact.
This
yes.
is Lamar. He gets fucking chastised for it.
No, heck. CJ, he gets chastised. People are talking about whether he deserves to have a future in the NFL.
And you are high if you think so.
And people are sitting there, and then with Josh Allen, everybody's like, "Oh, it's not all his fault. He's the only reason he's there." So that's where I totally get where you're coming from with the negativity, because it's like he deserves negativity. He should not just be taken up for anybody out there because they like him.
You screwed the pooch.
He screwed the pooch. I totally agree.
You will not be getting a Super Bowl.
That is where I'm not willing to go there.
Go enjoy being fucking the Phillip Rivers of the NFL for the rest of your fucking career. You are not getting a Super Bowl. You're going to put up a hella fucking stats. You're probably going to be like a second or third ballot Hall of Famer. You are never getting to a chip.
Potentially, yeah. That could be his career.
Never getting to a chip.
I just don't want to say never.
You need to pray Mahomes leaves the Chiefs and Joe Burrow retires because you are never getting a Super Bowl.
Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl.
Joe Flacco was backed by a top defense all time.
Eli Manning had
Also
2
backed
Super Bowl
by a
runs,
top
but
defense,
outside
like
of that
two
was
different top
50% in
defenses
his
all time.
career.
Was also backed by two top defenses.
Yeah.
Also, Eli didn't turn that bitch over. Flacco didn't turn that bitch over. You know what they
In
were
those
doing?
playoff runs, yeah, for sure.
You know
They
what
were
doing?
hot.
When they were going to the playoffs, it was their year. You know what they did? I'm going to do nothing, but I'm going to throw maybe 1 to 2 touchdowns. I'm not going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. That's all you have to fucking do.
I agree, yeah.
So it takes 13 points off the Broncos' board.
For sure.
You don't turn the ball over. So yeah, you want to talk about Eli and Flacco. Eli and Flacco, guess what they were able to do?
No,
Manage
I'm just mentioning it for
shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're right. They had Super Bowls on teams where they were not the centerpiece. All they had to do was make the play that was needed to be made. Josh Allen couldn't even do that to save his fucking life last night. If I was to fucking put money down on that game, I'd be at Josh Allen's fucking door burning his shit down because he was that fucking atrocious. You know what's funny? I did put money on that game. I bet the Broncos to win. I walked out with $40. Because I knew that motherfucker is trash.
Trash is going too far. I agree with everything you're saying. You just take the extra step that I can't go with you on. I agree with everything else you're saying. I totally do. It's just you go the extra step of saying the dude doesn't deserve to exist, and I'm like, maybe we're going a little too far.
He can exist.
As a football player. He doesn't deserve to exist as a football player.
No,
I just like...
You cannot exist on the same plane as the motherfuckers who are clearly better than you. I want this to cease. I want it to cease. I swear to you, if Drake May goes out there and wins a fucking Super Bowl, I'm going to tell you.
I'm hoping to God that doesn't happen.
You're going to be real fucking pissed come our top 5 quarterback list next year because that nigga Josh Allen's not going to be up there. I'm going to find 6 niggas better than him. He will not make it past 7 for me.
Okay. I'm again.
Because there is something called, there's stone cold fucking killer when it comes to playing in these games. Joe Burrow has it. Mahomes has it. Of they're winning this game by hella high water. You've seen it. We watched Joe Burrow get sacked 9 motherfucking times.
Yeah.
Talk about in his face. The Titans sacked his ass 9 times.
And he
we
still won
that game by a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree. Again, all those things I agree with.
Never in that man's life will he hoist a Lombardi. Have all the MVPs you want, whatever you want to do, you will never in your life hoist a Lombardi trophy.
Somebody has to. It can't just all be Mahomes's and Burrow's. Somebody else is going to...
Burrow will. He will if he leaves the Bengals.
I'm just saying there's not just one man who wins all the Super Bowls. There has to be other ones. Mm-hmm. And I think Josh Allen has just as good of a chance as anybody else.
Clearly fucking not.
Did he sell the one big...
best chance.
Did he sell it? Yeah, for sure.
Chance. You had to play no quarterback you've ever played in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you
agree.
Royally sold. Now,
he did.
You were never beating anybody who was coming out of the NFC anyway.
That was going to be a hard sell anyway, yes, for sure.
You were never beating them anyhow.
Yeah.
The Rams were going to put you in a fucking coffin, let alone the Seahawks.
Seahawks, yes. Defensively, they're insane. The Rams, they'll just outscore you. They'll score 50.
Yeah, also, Stafford's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's right now, yes, he is.
No, I'm not saying ever.
I'm saying all time. He can't go that far.
You. That motherfucker hoists the MVP and a Lombardi.
No, for sure. He's probably going to win MVP this year and then maybe Lombardi this year.
That motherfucker's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've been have that conversation. I totally agree with that.
We both agreed that he's a Hall of Famer. It was never
he
valid.
Looks like a Hall of Famer.
On paper, he's a Hall of Famer. Now, again...
Paper, not yet. We've been through this before.
Statistically, he has good...
Oh, yeah, when it comes to throwing stats. Yes.
Winning-wise.
No.
He played on a lot of shitty Lions teams for a very long time.
Yeah, organizationally, yes, but
Calvin Johnson was 5 years.
He did. But I'm saying he did have those 5 years and did jack squat.
Okay, name one more person on that team. I'll give you the years that they played together. I need you to name one person on the team. If you can't give me one more person, shut the fuck up.
That's where I might be an L on that because I remember
because they played on a shitty team.
No, because I remember some of the players after Calvin had retired.
Yeah, they got better after Calvin had retired.
Yeah, because they got a defense and they were like, hey, probably need to put a little more into other spots. Can't just only rely on Matthew Stafford. No, Matthew Stafford, if he wins the MVP this year and then he also wins a Lombardi, he'll for sure be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I totally agree with that fact. But yeah, Josh Allen, to put the bookend on this, Josh Allen did what he had to do. Any of the negativity he's gotten, he deserves. And anybody that wants to take up for him and try to do that is insane. Because at the end of the day, if you really think he's a quarterback of that caliber, then he deserves the blame when he's the one that is the reason for their team losing. And he was the reason because he had all those turnovers. So, like, all of that is true. I'm not anywhere near Jason when it comes to talking about how bad he is and how he's not a top 5 guy or anything like that. I'm not going down that road. But everything else he said, I totally agree with. So... And that's about it on that. And credit to the Broncos. They got the win. And I feel very bad for Bo Nix because, again, as much as I've been a Bo Nix hater throughout the year, he has gotten to this point where they're in the AFC Championship game, so I do have to eat crow on that. But the problem is that he ends up getting hurt, and now it's all for nothing because they might just lose the next game without much of an issue. And even if they win the next game against the Patriots, they're definitely losing in NFC because I think the NFC, whoever wins that game between the Rams and the Seahawks, they are probably the favorite for the Super Bowl without much of an issue.
Sorry, I was looking.
The only other player I was thinking of for the Lions, by the way, Golden Tate. He had a really good time with Golden Tate. That's one of the only players I can think of. And they did have
I'm gonna tell you no.
They did have Golden Tate.
They did.
This was after Calvin, though.
He was best when Calvin Johnson was not there, because when Calvin Johnson was there, he was dog shit.
And then they also had the running back.
Which one?
I was thinking of the Heisman Trophy winner that came out of USC. Why am I forgetting his name?
Bush?
Yeah, Reggie Bush. They also had him, but that was well after Calvin as well.
It's also well into the end of this nigga's career.
I'm just saying, I remember Reggie Bush. Like, one of the more fun games I've ever watched is Reggie Bush running in 6 inches of snow and, like, having an awesome game.
He was a back in the NFL at the time.
Yeah. He wasn't like that dude, but he was still...
He had 1,000.
Yeah.
The year he played with Detroit, he had 1,000. Now, again, for an NFL running back, that's minimal.
Yeah. You know, okay, fine.
Especially
if you're starting back, you should be.
If you're getting all the touches, that's low bar.
Not low, but it's like it's mid. It's a mid bar.
Chase Brown had 1,000 rushing yards.
It's a different NFL now, my guy.
Yes, he's sharing touches.
This guy. All right, let's get off this game. Jace got all of his rocks off when it comes to hating on Josh Allen.
No, now my hate's warranted. It used to just be blind. Now it's warranted.
Okay, I can get behind that. All right, the next game on Saturday, that would have been the Seahawks and 49ers game. There's not a lot to talk about this game. The Seahawks started this game with a kick return touchdown from Rashid Shaheed, and it just felt like literally from that point on, the Niners had no chance to win this football game. Because coming into this game, Niners were without George Kittle because he had just gotten hurt the game before, tearing his Achilles. But then they also were without Nick Bosa. They're also without Fred Warner. And most of that defense was hurt. And then offensively, pretty much the only healthy guy was Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. And then you also have a couple wide receivers, Juwan Jennings and why am I forgetting the wide receiver's name?
Ricky
Pearsall. And then your tight end, your backup tight end, Jake Tonjes, he also gets hurt and has to leave this game. So, like, this is a whole game worth of a comedy of injuries for the Niners coming into this game, if not what happened during, and Seattle just coming into this game and everything going right for them at home.
When you look at a team, like, it's just not meant to be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you lose another fucking weapon on offense, you just need to look at, like, if you lose another person at all on that team, you need to sit back as a coach. If I'm Shanahan, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm throwing the backup out there. We just don't have.
He should win Coach of the Year because this is probably his best coaching job.
It's amazing. It is amazing what you have done with that team.
Yeah.
Speaking that a lot of your best players got hurt for like week 10. You were down basically every major defensive player and every offensive player.
Brock Purdy got hurt at one point this season. The only player that was a constant was Christian McCaffrey.
And that's crazy.
And that's coming off of him missing a whole year because both of his knees had arthritis.
Magic to keep that motherfucker healthy.
And it worked.
It did. Sorry, I was just looking at the fucking rushing. I was wondering if he had 1,000 yards. He did. He had 1,200 yards.
Oh, CMC? I think he had close to 1,000 receiving as well.
They were sacrificing niggas to keep him.
Oh no, he had close to 500 touches this year.
He had, like I said, the players weren't getting hurt. Kyle Shanahan was sacrificing him in the locker room.
Anybody but him. Anybody but him.
And it worked. You're right. He was 23rd on the receiving list with 928.
Yeah.
More than DK Metcalf, Travis Kelce, Jalen Waddle, Drake London, and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
So it worked.
Yeah. Again, it's just they dragged that. Shanahan dragged that team into doing a lot bigger things than anybody ever thought they were with all the injuries that they had. But it's just it came to a point where it came to a screeching halt. Sam Darnold, like we talked about earlier in this pod, Sam Darnold didn't have to do shit. He had a torn oblique. The news that came out, they were saying, "Oh, he'll try to go out there and play," and he didn't have to do shit. He went 12 of 17 for 124 yards and a touchdown. Other than that, he did nothing else. He didn't have any turnovers, which again was a big deal. But it's just like it was just like a ball rolling downhill. That Kenneth Walker, your boy from Michigan State, 19 carries, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Seahawks did not come out of this game unfazed because Zach Charbonnet, their backup back, did tear his ACL. He's done for the year. But again, it didn't matter when Kenneth Walker was playing as well as he was in this game. Cooper Kupp, 5 catches, 60 yards. Kenneth Walker, 3 catches, 29 yards. JSN, you know this was a domination when JSN didn't have to do shit. 3 catches, 19 yards, and a touchdown. And they were doing freaking belt-to-ass stuff on the sideline in the middle of this goddamn game. So this Seahawks team absolutely destroyed San Fran, and the game wasn't close. And I almost feel bad for San Fran. Like you said, it almost feels like they have black magic on them. Like it just wasn't going to happen. Because, again, their backup tight end got hurt and wasn't able to play the rest of this game in Tonjes. And he was playing well before that. He had 5 catches for 59 yards. So it wasn't meant to be. Seattle just felt, and even when they were out there doing their thing, it was just Brock Purdy really just could not get the job done. 15 to 27 for 140 yards and 0 touchdowns and a pick. It didn't matter, man. And the Seahawks defense is awesome too. I don't think they're necessarily I think they're just a notch below what Houston brings when it comes to how good they are. I think their secondary is probably better because they're so big and physical. But they can't get after you like Houston can when it comes to all the pass rushers that they have. But their defense is insane.
Yeah.
So it was just a perfect cocktail for San Fran to get blown out, and that's exactly what happened when they lost 41-6. This is like a college football game where you have like the big FBS program playing against a Division II school. This is how bad it gets. So Seattle did their thing.
Jordan Battle was better than both Kyle Hamilton and Derwin James this year.
Kyle Hamilton was hurt for a lot of the season.
Yeah, but he's so cool.
Yeah, but again, it's partially fan related.
Sorry, I was just looking at it, and Jordan Battle was like one of the top tacklers this year, which
everything goes back to the Bengals. They're not even a part of the playoffs. Always comes back.
I was looking at the little statistic thing, so I was pulling up statistics and shit, and I was looking at Jordan Battle, and I was like, he was actually really good this year.
Yeah.
It didn't show because we were bad, but he had fucking 5 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 3 sacks.
Yeah.
Bro was balling. It just didn't matter.
It's the most random thing to bring up when the Bengals are nowhere near this conversation and you bring them up. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. They don't even have a coach. They're not even looking for a coach right now because they want to keep him.
What the fuck? A coach who just went 11-5 was just fired, and this nigga just was abysmal, and we kept his dumb ass?
Yeah. He's an awesome coach.
11 coaches were fired, and one of them's not Zach Taylor.
All the coaches in the AFC North were fired except him.
Gone. And all the coaches in the AFC North have awards and a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
two of them have a Super Bowl. One of them has been coach of the year twice.
Yeah.
And coach for the Browns.
Yeah. And they thought he wasn't good enough for them.
And this nigga just does nothing.
Yeah.
Ever.
No doubt.
Ever. He does nothing. Ever.
Yeah.
And he...
We'll get to the coaching stuff in a minute. We have 2 more games to talk about.
This has probably been the craziest coaching carousel I've ever seen in the NFL.
We'll get to it.
11 guys is crazy.
10. I think it's 10.
No, it's 11. With McDermott.
I guess it does make it 11. Yeah. Next game, New England Patriots and Houston Texans. Patriots win the game 28-16. CJ Stroud, like I mentioned earlier, has 4 interceptions and a fumble. Did he have a fumble? They get a fumble in this game as well.
It was the same thing. Ball going forward. It wasn't going forward.
Oh yeah. Yes. Sack fumble. CJ played terrible. I'm going to go start with the losers first and get to the winners. CJ played terribly in this game. I think Dan Orlovsky talked about if they had 31 other quarterbacks, they win this game. That might be a little hyperbolic, a little bit too much. That's going way too far. Exactly. I'm sitting there like, man, again, he had a terrible day. He was awful. He has some, again, as much as I'm a CJ Stroud stan and believer, that's going a tad bit too far. But he had a terrible day. He had 20 of 47 for 1 touchdown and 4 picks for 212 yards total.
31?
Yeah, that's going a little far.
I can say that Patriots defense played out of their mind.
But again, it didn't help that the offensive line I knew it was bad when CJ's left tackle was stepping on CJ, fell over, and then got hurt and had to leave the game. CJ got stepped on in the middle of that play.
Yeah, I saw that. You texted me after I saw that.
The
I was watching it and the notification came up, and I'm reading it as I'm watching him get stepped on.
The offensive line was ass all night. Again, they have to own that too. Again, it doesn't change the fact that CJ made bad decisions. When people were in his lap, he should have just made better decisions, not try to throw the football away. And he did it all too often, which is why he had all those picks.
Is it?
Except for one of them. One, it went straight through the wide receiver's hands and it went straight into a defender's hands.
Oh, yeah, it was bad.
He should have caught it or at least knocked it down. Should have been an incompletion. But it ended up being a pick. That pick's not on him, but the rest of them were. And he didn't play well. They couldn't run the football. They had 48 yards total rushing because their offensive line was so bad.
Number 19 on the...
For who?
I think the Texans.
Hutchinson.
Nico got hurt.
Hutchinson.
Garbage.
Not good.
He twice did he do that ball, boop, right in the defender's hand.
Yeah.
Twice that happened to him. He was bad.
It also didn't.
Does not help that all their receivers are hurt.
Nico was hurt.
He
didn't even play because he had the concussion the game before. Dalton Schultz had a really good game and then got hurt in the middle of the game, had to leave. So your top 2 targets left the game. On top of the fact your offensive line is dog shit.
It's bad to say that I feel like a change of scenery may be the best thing for CJ. The way that I feel like he truly. I have not seen a quarterback. Joe Burrow, his O-line's always been bad. I've never seen Joe Burrow like that. CJ looked like he was nervous to get the ball.
He wasn't on this planet Earth. He was in a different dimension.
Because I don't want to get hit anymore.
He was in hell. He was in hell. He was in hell.
I don't want to get hit anymore.
You still have to own that. You still have to make good decisions when you're about to get hit. But
again, even when he's getting the ball out, he's still getting hit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because they're in his face 100%.
Constant. And this,
I think they had like an 88% pressure rate.
And that pass rush is not that good.
No. They were making the New England Patriots defense look like fucking 2005 Ravens defense.
Yeah.
I was watching Ray Lewis and Ed Reed go out there and kill them.
Which is crazy because that defense was on the Houston side. We'll talk about them in a minute. The Houston defense was awesome in this game, but didn't even matter.
And I feel like CJ Stroud has lost so much faith in his O-line of it may be better that he's just not there.
Again, I want to give them an offseason to be like, hey, there literally is no other weakness to your team other than your offensive line. So literally,
y'all have no receivers to save your ass.
Again, they just drafted 2 wide receivers. They're going to get Tank Dell back next year.
Yeah, but what will Tank Dell be back?
Who knows? But again, but he won't have to be your number 1 or number 2. Jaden Higgins, the guy you picked up in the second round, he was really good. He was the only productive receiver after Dalton Schultz left, and the fact they didn't have Nico there. So I do think he can be a really good number 2, and the fact that you can have a guy like Tank Dell in the slot is insane.
I do hope he does have
I hope he comes back and is awesome. I hope that happens. But so they need to go into this draft and go into free agency saying, hey, we're just going to have to go spend real money, spend real picks on linemen, and then tell CJ, hey, go on your soul-searching journey, figure this out, and come back better, because when he is all the way there, we saw what he was during his rookie year. So, like, getting him, I'm not even saying getting him totally back that, because that may not even be possible because of how magical that season was. But he is a much better quarterback than what he showed that day. And people are dogging him for it and talking about how he shouldn't be the guy there long term and how he shouldn't get paid. And I'm like, I get it. All the questions are warranted. But going in on him like he isn't 3-3 in the playoffs is kind of crazy. He's 3-3 in the playoffs. Like, guess what guy isn't 3-3 in the playoffs? Justin Herbert, who got beat the round before. And nobody had shit to say about Justin Herbert when he threw for 4 picks last year. Everybody wants to take up for Herbert just like the same way we want to take up for Allen. And Herbert's not even playing this week, and nobody's questioning if Herbert's a long-term answer for the Chargers, and he hasn't done shit in the playoffs.
The board of wanting to defend Justin Herbert.
Me too. Me too.
There's a level of you have to give me something to defend in a way that he just hasn't.
Right. I totally agree.
It is just, it's too hard to defend him at this point.
Yeah.
I like Justin Herbert. I think he is truly amazing.
I like Herbert too, but again, like, at some point you have to produce.
I feel like he was a better player when his team was worse.
Yeah.
I feel like Harbaugh's system don't give him the freedom to just kind of go around and sling the football in a way that
they gave him more of that this year, and he kind of got back to it. But then when it came down to it, the offensive line was too bad this year.
Oh, offensive line was very bad. But I truly think for him to be at his best, you need to just let him you need to let him free flow and play how he wants to play.
Yeah.
Of that, I think I believe that is the best way for him to play.
True. So,
I would love for him to be as great as I believe he is.
A lot of people believe Curt Herbert's as great as he is, but it's just, again, he hasn't done even close to what even CJ has in his 3 years as an NFL pro. So I'm just sitting there like, you're treating the guy as if he's like an 8. If he's like Josh Allen, who's doing having the same type of day, being 8 years into the NFL, 8-9 years into his NFL career, then you have to give CJ a little bit of grace for having 2 bad years and having a terrible offensive line and having 2 different offensive coordinators in this past 3 years.
Josh Allen wasn't even good until his 3rd year.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there like, maybe you need to give the guy a little bit of grace rather than just like piling on the dude and saying he doesn't deserve that be there long term.
Was spoiled from what they got the first year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think CJ to a certain degree was spoiled too, because he was going on all the podcasts talking about how he's a top 5 quarterback. So he got intoxicated by his own success as well. Success is fleeting in the NFL. Like, it's only truly the greats that can go out there and be really good year after year after year. And CJ has to get that. He has to do some soul searching. And what he said after this game was like, hey, I let the team down. It sucks that I was the reason that our defense played so good. We'll get to them in a second, but the defense was awesome. This defense was ready to go win a championship. And unfortunately, because CJ was not, they were taken out much earlier than they probably should have been. And CJ said he owns that. He said he's going to try to get better, and he's going to own that. He's going to have his chest out, chin up high, and he's going to do what he has to get better. Oh yeah, probably. Don't even get near it, because I'm like, I hate it, and I'm a big fan of his. I'm not even a Texans fan, and I'm sitting there like, man, people are going way too hard on him for what? Yeah. It's just going way too far on it. And again, he was
the same age.
Huh?
You say they tried the same age?
Yeah. 3 years in the NFL. I think he's like 22, 23. Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's very young in his NFL career. There's time for him to grow, and people need to give him that space. He will.
Better at sports.
It is what it is, man. But to the Houston defense before we get to the Patriots. Defense for the Houston was awesome. Will Anderson is an absolute monster. I think he might be the second best defensive player in the NFL. I have to give not Michael Parsons, Myles Garrett some credit, because he did break the sack record. But outside of him, Will Anderson might be the most inevitable player I've seen this year. He was awesome. He got a sack fumble in this game. He had 3 sacks. I think he had 2 sack fumbles. He's insane. Again, it helps that he has Daniil Hunter on the other side, who's also a top 10, 15 sacker in the NFL. But he's awesome.
As great as you on the other other side and you still be that much
He's
better,
that dude. He's that dude.
Crazy.
Not to mention the guys they have, Aziz Al-Shaya, like their secondary is insane.
Their secondary was bad in this game. They were not great.
Again, they let up the big plays.
They did, and because that Houston secondary is a very physical secondary.
Yeah.
They're the most flagged secondary.
They do grab. They are some grabbers for sure.
I think they said during the broadcast, Derek Steen only had like 17 penalties against him, and the other dude had like 20. They are flagged a lot
Throughout the year, yeah, for sure.
They play very physical.
But again, if you can, with your defense is getting after the other team's quarterback as much as they are, it's your job to be locked down for 2 to 3 seconds and let your defensive front go eat. That's exactly what happened. Like, that's exactly what they've been feasting on this year. And unfortunately, in this game, they did so much. They did what they were supposed to do, and they weren't getting help from their offense, weren't getting help from C.J. Stroud. And Drake May was able to get 3 big plays out there, was managed for them to win this game, and that was enough. And like I said, Drake May didn't play awesome in this game either. But it's just he had a lot less turnovers, and when the big plays presented themselves, he was out there to make them. So you have to give Drake May a lot of credit, even with that crazy defense in his face, in his lap all night long. He went out there and did what he had to do. They ran the football relatively well. Ramondre Stevenson, 16 carries, 70 yards. Travion, 12 carries, 25 yards, didn't do shit in this game. I think he got hurt. Keyshawn Boutte had an awesome game, 3 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. Demario Douglas had 2 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Literally all 3 of those plays were big plays that they needed. And it's just, again, all those scores probably wouldn't have happened without CJ turning the football over as much as he did. And there was a pick six that he threw early on in this game as well. In the second, I think that was in the second quarter where he threw that pick six, and they were up 7-3 at that point. Sorry, 10-7. And then CJ threw the pick six, and then it was pretty much lights out from there because it's like their offense couldn't get anything done to score points. But it's just, people want to give Drake May a ton of credit for, I just don't like Patriot fans. They have now attached themselves to Drake May and now calling him their next Tom Brady. And they're talking about how awesome he is. And I'm like, I get it. He's a very good quarterback. But it's just the fact that they are so quick to jump on him and be cultish towards him makes me more negative about him to a certain sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like when something's overhyped and it's like makes you almost not want to watch it. Like when like it's a movie or something. When people talk about it so much, it's like, man, I'm just not going. It makes you want to be a contrarian to a certain degree. So it's just, again, the Patriots did what they had to do. Their defense ended up looking great because of how bad CJ was and how bad that offensive line was. They made the plays necessary, and that's exactly what needed to happen in this game. In Drake May, he threw that one pick that he had, and he also had a couple fumbles as well. So, like, he is still doing the same thing. He fumbles a lot, which is crazy. And you know what's funny? Somebody brought this up, and I'm like, oh, yeah. One of the downsides of Drake May coming out of the draft process, what do you think it is when it comes to – oh, that's hilarious. What do you think it is when it comes to ball security?
6 years ago. What do you mean?
Small hands. Drake May doesn't have the biggest hands, so now the ball security thing is a thing over this playoff run. Everybody's like, man, well, he did have small hands coming out of the draft. And again, I'm not going to say here and only blame that, but it is kind of funny how people want to bring it up when you have moments like this. But he did exactly what he needed to win this game. I do want to give why am I forgetting the name of their coach now? Mike Vrabel, awesome. I don't want them to win a Super Bowl at all. But if they do end up doing it, I'll hate the fans because they just don't deserve the success they're getting right now. But Vrabel, I'd feel happy for. Trey, I'd feel happy for. And to a certain degree, I think I'd feel good for Stephon Diggs. I'd feel okay for Stephon Diggs if he got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I'd feel okay for Stephon Diggs.
He does some stupid shit off the field.
He does.
Pink powder,
But
potentially harming his cook. But other than that, like on the field, he's a pretty decent player.
He's a pretty great player. I don't think he's like one of the greatest, like everybody thought he was going to be.
No.
But I do think he's
Very
very good.
good. But yeah, Houston, they'll figure it out. Need to get CJ some offensive linemen. And now the Patriots are the favorites to go win the AFC Championship game because they have to go face a backup quarterback in Jared Stidham for the Broncos. So it is what it is there. Let's see here. Last playoff game to talk about before we get to the coaching carousel and get out of here. Final game. Rams beat Bears 20-17 in overtime. This was an awesome game. Would you like to start with the winners or losers?
You start with the losers.
Bears. Caleb Williams, 2 weeks in a row, has 2 awesome plays that might go down to some of the more improbable plays to ever happen in NFL history. And Drake May is perfect for that. I think he might have the most effortless arm that I've seen in a few years. The fact that he was able, I'm starting with the end of the game first, at the end of regulation, where they needed the touchdown to win it, and he's drifting back 10, 15 yards, and he's at the 45-yard line when he lets go of the football on 4th down to, why am I forgetting? Not Loveland, but they're Kmet. Throws the football to Kmet at the back of the back left end zone and gets a touchdown there is one of the crazier plays I've ever seen on a football field in the NFL. So that I have to give him a lot of credit for because, again, not very efficient, 23 of 42, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Not the most efficient. That's pretty much been his problem all year long, but he doesn't give up a lot of sacks. He's throwing the football when he needs to. And when it's time to turn it on in the 4th quarter, they need big plays out of him. He just keeps showing up and he keeps making big plays, almost to the point where it almost felt like you were going to do that in overtime as well, and it finally ran out, and he threw the pick when the other wide receiver
for who?
For the Bears.
DJ Moore.
Huh?
DJ Moore.
Yes, DJ Moore. He's trying to throw the out route, not the out route, but like the flag route or whatever. And DJ Moore wasn't really running all the way like he needed to, and he kind of drifted and allowed the defensive player to kind of get in beneath him in order to get the pick. But outside of that, like, they did what they had to do in this game. Caleb was great, inefficient, but made some big plays when he had to. They ran the football well. DeAndre Swift, 19 carries, 76 yards. Caleb had 40 yards rushing in this game. Colson Loveland, before he ended up getting hurt and leaving the game in the last drive, 4 catches, 56 yards. DJ Moore, he had the touchdown, 5 catches, 52 yards. Cole Kmet had the touchdown catch at the end of the game. And Roma Dunze, 2 catches, 44 yards, but it should have been a 3rd catch because he threw that ball to Roma Dunze early on in the game and literally hit him in the chest. It would have been a touchdown. That was a big deal because Roma Dunze, like, hit him right in the chest. That's another touchdown you have. You might win this game. But again, it was early on. Who knows how the game kind of turns out. But in the Bears defense, as ass as they have been all year long,
they were good.
They showed up and they were awesome in this game. They were getting after Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford went 20 of 42. One of the things that Matthew Stafford's been over the last few years, he's been efficient. The fact they kept him under 50% completion percentage in this game, their defense was awesome. They were getting after him. They were sacking him. They had 4 sacks in this game. And every ball that he threw, if it wasn't a Puka Nacua, they were contesting all of them. So I have to give the Bears defense a lot of credit in this game. They said, hey, we're just going to go balls to the wall and try to get after it and make the Rams have to earn it. And that's exactly what they did, and I have to give the defense a lot of credit for doing that in this game. And do you think they should have gone for 2 after the touchdown at the end of the game? You think so?
Yes.
I thought so too, but here's what I'll say. I did hear what Ben Johnson had to say after the game when they asked him, why didn't you? And he did say, like, hey, yeah, usually I would go for it, but he said that because we have been bad on at the goal line and short yardage all game long, I decided it probably wasn't a good idea. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of understand the logic behind it because, again, if things are going well for you and you think everything's going well, then I get you taking that chance. But if, like, hey, we've been bad at short yardage all day long, why would I put my team in another chance of not doing that when you have overtime in your pocket? So, like, I would have liked to see them go for it because it felt like they just had all the momentum at that point. Their defense is probably now shocked because they gave up the touchdown. But I get the idea that if you weren't good at it all day long, why would you try to do it again and try to change the way that the trend was going? I kind of understand his thought process behind not going for it. But I do think, like you, that they probably should have went for it and just taken advantage of the opportunity that they had to end the game right there. But again, I get it's a hard decision when you have overtime in your pocket. Like, hey, we have more football to play if we just hit the extra point and get on our way. So I understand it, but I don't necessarily agree. So in that pick that Caleb threw, I'm not sure if it was more on DJ Moore or him. I think it just felt like a little bit more of a miscommunication that just didn't work out. DJ Moore was not running hard for that football. If he would have just tried to keep running for it, maybe, but even still, like if you run all out for that ball, even if you don't catch it, you at least can knock it down like a defender and stop the pick from happening. But also, I do have to blame Caleb. Like, why would you try to go for such a big play at that point? You have the ball. Both teams already had a possession, so all you have to do is next score wins. All you have to do is get in field goal range. So, like, why would you try to take such a huge risk at that point when all you have to do is nickel and dime your way down the field like you've been doing all game? So, there's blame to go around everywhere. But, I just think if you ask Bears fans before the season started that, hey, with your brand new head coach and Caleb Williams going into year two or year three?
Year 2.
That you are going to not only win your division, beat the Packers twice, but then get potentially really close to an NFC Championship game, I think Bears fans will take that all day long.
I agree, especially after being abysmal for so long.
Yeah, so and now that you have your quarterback, because again, as much as I think Caleb does need to keep getting better and keep being more efficient, what he is right now with some of the big plays that he's making, like again, this works now that he's a young guy. You would hope as the more years that he plays, he'll get better at not being as up and down. But when he's up, man, when he's out there and he has to make a big play to win a game, like he's going out there and doing it. You have to give him a lot of credit for that. But start with the losers. We've got to go to the winners. Matthew Stafford, 20 of 42, 258 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Nothing near what Matthew Stafford usually does in these spots. The defense really gave him trouble, and he really struggled throughout the game. They ran the football relatively well. Kyron Williams had 21 carries for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was awesome. Blake Corum didn't do all that much, though. 6 carries, 19 yards. But again, they put all their eggs in the Kyron Williams basket, and he delivered and played very well because of it. Kobe Parkinson, their tight end, 3 catches, 56 yards. Puka Nacua, 5 catches, 56 yards. Puka did not have nearly as big of a day as I thought he would have.
No, but
again, you win at the end of the day, and you're gonna have another chance for Puka to go out and have a great game. But again, the fact they didn't need him to get 10 catches for over 100 yards was a very big deal in this game because again, they weren't very efficient. Matthew Stafford had a bad day, but it still ended up with you getting the ball and winning the game like you needed to. Whittington, their other tight end, 2 catches, 35 yards. Kyron Williams had 4 catches, 30 yards. Devontae Adams, 2 catches for 24. So, they did not have a great day offensively at all. But I will say, with you having a veteran quarterback in Matthew Stafford, that even though he's having a bad day, he gets the ball in that overtime and has a chance to go down there and win it. And guess what? He manages the offense, gets you down the field, gets you into field goal range for you to win that game after they had gotten the pick off Caleb Williams. And you have a coach in Sean McVay that's done this for 9 years. And he has been an awesome coach, and he knows what to do in these moments. And in a big game, he knows how to get you where you need to go. And that's exactly what they did. Things weren't going their way. It was stupid cold in that game. And the Rams persevered, and they got the win. Even with having the stunning play that Caleb Williams made at the end of that game, their defense came out and made a big play at the end in overtime and got the job done. So give the Rams a lot of credit. They'll now have to go face Seattle. In Seattle for the NFC Championship game.
They lose this game.
I don't know. They've played each other 3 times. This will be their 3rd time playing this year.
With Darnold having a torn oblique, is that what it was?
Uh-huh.
Not an oblique.
Yeah.
No, it's pectoral.
No, it's a torn oblique.
Isn't the oblique in his leg?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll be fine.
Torn pec, that's in your arm, so that would be even more of an issue.
Torn pec.
No, torn oblique.
Oh, he'll be fine.
He can't run.
He couldn't do that much of that before.
He could. No, he could run.
I think he'll be fine. Who was it that played with a torn oblique? Amon-Ra St. Brown played with a torn oblique for 6 weeks before he went out.
Yeah, okay, fine.
You don't really run that much anyhow.
I know, but if he's gonna have he can't have an offense output like he did.
Yeah, but does he need to?
Again, 12 of 17.
Does he? But again, does he need to? He may have to throw like 23 times. But
they're not going to be able to hold Matthew Stafford and that offense down to 3 points.
But if they can hold them under 21,
true.
I think if they can keep them under 21, they have a chance.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not saying they don't have a chance. I'm just saying that it is not going to be an easy win for Seattle by any degree. That defense, as good as it is, the Rams offense has seen it twice already. And you think Sean McVay won't have real answers to that by the time you see him for a third time?
This is the third time.
And they won't be fazed by the crowd because they've already seen it before this year. They see it every year. And guess what? Matthew Stafford's not going to have 2 bad games in a row. So it's not going to fucking happen. And Puka Nacua being left to 5 catches, like that's not going to happen multiple games in a row. So as much as I think Seattle defense is going to make this very difficult, I think this is going to be the better game between the two because unfortunately, I think unless Drake May has a terrible performance, they're probably winning against the Broncos, even in the Broncos' house.
I don't know, man. The Rams have only narrowly beat Seattle.
Oh, I get it.
And then the first time they beat Seattle, Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. So Sam Darnold was bad.
No, I get it.
And then the second time,
Seattle won the game like close, right?
38-37 of Darnold again did not play well. 2 for 2. He was sacked 4 times. He did not play well, and they still won this game.
I get it.
Kenneth Walker, 11 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Zach Charbonnet, 9. This nigga's a fucking goal line merchant. Sorry, I hate Zach Charbonnet because that motherfucker's goal line merchant.
It's not even just that because they do use him. Like if Charbonnet is out again, he won't be playing in this game.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a little bit of it because they really do use both of those backs, but Charbonnet is probably the more versatile of the two, the way they use him at least. So again, I just think it was going to be a very good matchup for this last game for them playing for a third time. But Rams, a lot of credit for winning this game. Get out there to get the job done. And the Bears, this was a awesome game to watch on Sunday night. And I do have to give both teams a lot of credit because they went out there and did their thing.
I agree.
And the Bears have nothing, nowhere to go but up from here. Like they're still gonna have a ton of cap space. They have a young coach in Ben Johnson that's doing his thing. Again, it might change.
The Bears are a very rough team, so you would really hope they go up.
And you know what they have to deal with this year? Next year, they'll have a first place schedule. So now they'll have a lot harder of a schedule to have to face. Again, they'll be dealing with the same thing that Washington ended up dealing with this year, with Jane Daniels doing as well as he did last year. And then now they have a much harder schedule. The Bears are going to have to do that too. So maybe it's going to be a little bit of a fork in the road if Caleb doesn't necessarily progress like he needs to. But I do think they have a real future in their hands. They really do. Caleb's good. Ben Johnson's awesome. As long as he keeps progressing in that offense and just getting more efficient, I think they'll be a really good team for years to come in the NFC. I really do. All right, so that's all the games. Now, coming out of that, let's go ahead and talk about the coaching carousel. Coming out of this weekend, Sean McDermott, like you already mentioned, was fired as the Bills head coach. You know what's funny is that we were talking about this yesterday about how if you're going to fire McDermott, why wouldn't you fire the GM as well?
Was that nothing?
He hasn't done shit. Like I told you
Can't
before,
draft either. He's a bad
he has
drafter.
drafted 56 players since drafting Josh Allen, and he's only of those 56, only 2 of them have been Pro Bowlers. That's bad.
Wait, only 2?
Only 2.
Is one of them James Cook?
And the other one's Dawson Knox.
Oh, that's in the last 3 years, gang.
Yes.
That's bad.
And guess what? Not only was he not fired, he got promoted to president of football operations. He's not even just the GM anymore. So what the fuck is going? Like again, it's not all on Sean McDermott. Like
those 2 were both in the same draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he needs to fire.
So I'm just sitting there like, why?
I agree with you though on that part. If you fire the coach, you got to
fire both. Fire both.
Because it's
unless you're the Eagles or you're the Seahawks and you have like the Godfather GMs. Godfather GMs. Other than that, if you're firing the coach, you fire the GM too, and just let the new ones be handcuffed to each other. Like, hey, either you're going to succeed.
You said it. They should be attached to the hip.
Succeed together, or you're going to fail together. Yeah. That's it.
One is they're reliant on each other.
Yeah.
The coach can only coach whatever players the GM signs. And the GM can only sign players if the coach is good.
The moves they made, firing McDermott and then giving the GM a promotion, The only way that makes sense is if Sean McDermott has been picking all the players in the draft for the past 5 years. That hasn't fucking been happening. It hasn't. Because guess what? It just doesn't make any sense to me. He shouldn't have been. And you know, the GM has a leg up on that because guess what? Every time there's a game being played, guess where the GM is? In the same suite as the owner. And a lot of times when the coach is out there doing his job, the GM gets to talk shit about the coach and how he's not doing right with his players.
We gotta let this guy go, man.
I'm just like that. That's where like you have to fire them both.
You right. He's out there sweet talking like, man, I would have put Bose on the side. Personally, you right. I would have ran cover 3 there.
Like they're fucking
Like, all right.
they're fucking around with Keon Coleman. Like he was a great player when I drafted him. They're not coaching him right.
That they drafted him 2nd round. I was like, that's a fucking mistake.
Yeah, no,
He was fine at Michigan State, but he is not special.
he put up the great year at Florida State. But other than that,
motherfucker didn't have 1,000. He only had like 898.
true.
I said it over and over again. He's not special. He may be okay, but
Right.
he's not special.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Jaden Reed of the 2 when he was at Michigan State was the #1 receiver for a reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Jaden Reed did have an extra element to what made him a little more special.
Yeah.
Even right now, Jaden Reed, he will have a nice NFL career given he's healthy.
Yeah, because he hasn't been for
But he's
the Packers.
he's a good. He is relatively quick. He can play the slot. He can be your returner. He can do so many things.
Yep.
That's why Michigan State made an effort to keep him, and they let Keon Coleman's ass go.
And now the issues that the Bills been having with Keon Coleman is him not doing the right things, not showing up to practice on time. Like it's all the stuff not on the field that he's not doing right, and that's a big issue. And
But
guess what? That's on the GM for picking a guy like that, and it's not working out.
They real quick, they picked his ass off his personality, and his personality can only get him so fucking far.
Exactly. At some point, you have to do the work, and
And
he hasn't been doing it as of recently. So that's on the GM as well as the head coach. So, and not to mention, you fire McDermott right after Harbaugh got hired to the fucking Giants.
Real quick, Harbaugh would have never taken that job. Harbaugh took the Giants job because he wanted complete control.
That's true, but I also think if it was going to be Harbaugh that they hired, they would have fired the GM because he's not that fucking good. That's where I sit there. I'm like,
That's a good call.
like that's where I think they would have that opportunity to get him. And I know Harbaugh's kicking himself. Because now he's coaching Jackson Dart instead of
Mahomes. All the
Mahomes.
young guys. Now you have a future going forward. You have the #2 overall pick.
2 or 3.
I believe it's 2 because they won one more game than the Raiders. I think it's 2.
Okay, yeah.
Like he has a future going forward with a young team in a way that the Bills are kind of.
Yeah, but
stagnant.
he has to hope that Jackson Dart's going to be that guy.
I think he can be a guy.
I think he can be too, but I'm just like, you would know Josh Allen's the guy,
I know,
and you just have
but
to fill in around
Dart
him.
played pretty well without Malik Neighbors most of the year. Some of the
True.
games they lost,
Yeah.
they win with Malik Neighbors on the roster.
But you also have to think that what if Malik Neighbors isn't all the way back to 100% when he comes back? Because he did tear an ACL.
And that's okay. But again, with a guy as young as he is, I doubt he'll be not 100% when he comes
For
back.
sure. No.
He tore his ACL way early in the season.
No, that's true.
They were like week 2, week 3.
It was like week 4, week 5, something like that. But again,
He was out.
you still have plenty of time for him to get back for week 1 and this Cam Scadaboo thing too. I don't think you can have a team long term that you can rely on a guy like Cam Scadaboo to be your #1 back. So they're going to have to find a new back and do that, and you're going to have to find new offensive linemen as well. But getting back to McDermott, I'm just like, firing him implies that you have a better option.
ACL and meniscus.
That's a bad one. That's a bad combo for tearing both.
Receiver, that is a fucking
Yeah,
horrible combo.
very bad. But yeah, when you fire McDermott, like you have to imply there's a better option out there. Is there a better coaching option out there other than McDermott? Like Tomlin, I guess, but Tomlin already said he's not coaching this year.
He also can't.
He can, but you just have to trade for him. And I don't think the Steelers would throw a huge hissy fit and like say, hey, you have to give me a first round pick for him. But I think you would have to trade for him. But like there is no. I'm not the biggest Sean McDermott fan, but I do think he is a top 10 coach in all the NFL. And you let go of that guy knowing that Harbaugh had already been hired. So I'm just like, it's a very stupid plan altogether. And then you kept the GM as well and gave him a promotion. It's all ass. And I just think that the issues that you have was more about drafting than it was about coaching. And that GM needs to hold him, that he needs to be held responsible. But it turns out the coach is falling on the sword because they fired him instead. So it is what it is. But that's one of the job openings you have. Was there anybody else fired as recently? No? No, there wasn't. So here's... Oh, there were people hired, though. Let me see. NFL head coach hires. So, as of today, as of this morning, there have been 4 of the 11 that have been filled already. Okay? We already talked about Jordan Harbaugh going to the Giants. Talked about him last week. Great. He'll be an adult in the room. As long as Jackson Dart's the guy, he'll be able to get you where you need to go. I'm not going to say he's going to get you a Super Bowl, but he will get you to a point where you'll have a hard floor. And in the NFC East, where you'll be competitive every year and not having the bad seasons they've been having as of recently. Again, as long as Jackson Dart's the guy. Even if not, they'll be able to do something with maybe a lesser quarterback because they will have a more of a better structure as a organization. Other one that's been filled, Kevin Stefanski, hired as the Atlanta Falcons head coach. I think it's an awesome hire.
I think it's a perfect hire. I think Penix is out for next year.
It's not looking good. He got hurt so late in the season. So even if they have Kirk Cousins, guess what? Kirk Cousins loves the offense that Kevin Stefanski runs. So as long as you can keep Kirk Cousins on, he doesn't want to get traded still.
I think Michael Penix would do good in a Kevin Stefanski offense.
I agree.
Kevin Stefanski makes an offense that's very simple to understand as you go through reads.
And not to mention, when Baker was healthy, he did do well with Baker Mayfield.
He's a great Baker.
So, you can even do with, a lesser quarterback, you can still make the job happen with Kevin Stefanski, especially since you have all those weapons. Imagine him with a Bijan Robinson, with a Drake London, with a Kyle Pitts, whether they keep him long-term or not.
Kyle Pitts is going to explode into Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, my God.
Offense. We're going to see why he was drafted.
He's a David Njoku clone. He's a David Njoku clone.
Better David Njoku.
Because he's faster.
He's faster.
But, so he'll be able to put a great offense together. Their defense is young and very good. So I just think he's going to be a very good option in Atlanta. And they're going to, the Browns are going to be kicking themselves because they let go of a good head coach.
I think he was the perfect option in Atlanta.
Awesome. Awesome.
Perfect.
Again, he is I'm not sure how I put this to somebody else, but he's like a Walmart version of Shanahan. Like a Shanahan's Costco. Stefanski is Walmart. He's like if Shanahan's like an A+, Stefanski's like a B, B+. Because I don't think in game he's as good as Shanahan, but I think when it comes to putting it together an offense, I think he's awesome. I think he's pretty good.
Sorry, the Aldi to Walmart was weird. The Costco to Walmart was weird.
Well, if Costco's the best when it comes to stores, right?
Yeah, but they're not. It's a Target to Walmart. It's a comparison.
I don't think Target's that great. I think it's just more name brand than anything.
That's because bro. You have bias.
Maybe.
You fucking hate that.
Okay. I'm just.
There's a difference.
Okay.
Target to Walmart.
Okay, I'm just gonna make it a grade then. If Shanahan is an A+, Stefanski's like a B+.
Shanahan's a B-.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Again,
Stefanski's a B-.
Stefanski would not have dragged that San Fran team the way that Shanahan did.
No, and that's why
Shanahan's A+. But he's a great option for Atlanta. Miami Dolphins, as of this morning, they hired Jeff Hafley, the DC from Green Bay.
Oh, the Titans hired
Robert Saleh.
Okay.
I think Jeff Hafley to the Miami makes sense. He's a defensive head coach. He's going to be he's going to be much different than what McDaniels was.
Miami needs that.
He'll be more serious. He'll be more like
Robert Saleh to the Titans was a good pick.
he's like the total opposite of what Michael McDaniels was.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very hard job because there's so much else to do in Miami for players. So it's going to be very hard to get their focus all the time. But I think with a defensive-minded head coach, I think he'll be able to get the best you possibly can as long as you can get a new quarterback. Because, again, Tua is not the guy long-term.
But I think Robert Saleh was a good hire for the
and then Saleh for Tennessee Titans, yeah.
Was a good hire for the Titans because that team was best when they're defensive-focused.
True. They have their quarterback.
They do. So I think getting a guy like Robert Saleh, especially going to the draft, where they have like a top 5 pick.
And they have a ton of money, and they have no talent. Like they literally have to.
You can stack.
Get all
That's
of your
the thing.
guys in the
You don't
draft.
exactly have to stack in every position. So like you can maybe
True.
go a little cheaper on defense and Robert Saleh be able to scheme up
He
defense.
you know what, he did that with San Fran. He did more with less defensively.
And I think that's where they luck out of, hey, you can load your offense a little better.
Yeah.
Especially going to the draft of, hey, you can go get a Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
I am like 80% sure if it's not no lineman, they're drafting Carnell Tate.
They need weapons. They need
sure
weapons
they're drafting
badly.
Carnell Tate, or they're going for a good offensive lineman.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think hiring Robert Saleh, you guys were best with Mike Vrabel, who's a defensive-minded head coach.
Yep.
And I think hiring Robert Saleh makes sense. Some people are like, oh, why would they hire a dude who couldn't succeed with the Jets? And I'm like, well,
the Jets
none
are
of those things were his fault.
Terrible organization.
None of those things were his fault. The first year he was there, Rodgers got hurt. The second year was there, Rodgers was kind of abysmal.
Yeah.
The third year was there.
Well, he was there a year before Rodgers got there.
He was. Who was his
and they
quarterback?
sucked ass, and it was Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
If I'm looking at Robert Saleh, I'm just going to give you a fresh slate. We're just going to take exactly what you did with San Fran.
Yeah. And all of that, and you have a terrible organization. So I'm not going to blame what happened with the Jets on Robert Saleh. And I think he'll be again, it's not like Tennessee's kind of ran terribly too. Because they did
fire their GM.
They did fire Vrabel for a GM, and then they got rid of him. They're two GMs past that GM that they picked over Vrabel. So I'm sitting there like,
and
they're
Vrabel's
not
going to an AFC Championship right now.
And they're owned by a lady because she inherited it because her husband died. She's not all that good at owning the team, and she's kind of like doing shit doing shit, not really knowing what to do with the team. But again, I think Robert Saleh is good,
and apparently it is to the detriment of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Robert Saleh is a great first step, and you have your quarterback. Now it's time to go draft, get some real talent in around, not only offensively but defensively. Again, like you said, you could probably do a little bit less defense because Robert Saleh just knows how to put a defense together. He's one of the great defensive minds in the NFL right now. So they just need, I think, as long as they give Robert Saleh the time, I think they will have a really good recipe for success.
A defensive-minded head coach.
So now, teams still interviewing. Arizona Cardinals are still interviewing guys for their head coaching job.
That's what I had said was the worst job, right? I said it was the Cardinals.
I thought you said it was the Raiders.
It was the worst job by far.
So they're still looking for a head coach. Baltimore Ravens are still looking for a head coach. You have Buffalo now looking for a head coach. Who knows what they're going to be end up finding? They haven't even got a chance to hire to interview anybody because again, they didn't think they're going to be hiring anybody anytime soon. Cleveland Browns still looking, obviously, because they got rid of Stefanski. You have the Raiders still looking for a head coach as well, but they do have their number 1 overall pick, so I do think they have a lot of money to spend on their roster. So I do think that's
still wouldn't want to go to the Raiders.
Probably not, but again, everybody's very convinced that
they fire their GM.
No, he's still there.
I'm not going to the Raiders. That nigga sucks. I'm just saying, if like that GM's been there for a while.
No, I agree.
You got to let him go at some point.
And then you also have the Steelers, who is still looking for a head coach. This is where I just have one complaint about the Steelers so far. One of the guys they're saying is being looked at as being a head coach for this team is Mike McCarthy, which I'm not sure. Obviously, former Cowboys coach, and then he was also coaching for the Packers. He better not be the fucking option. I get it; he's an offensive guy, but he is fucking awful. Again, I'm not saying he's
a good coordinator, bad coach.
He's a good coordinator, but as a head coach, he's not good. And again, I get it. Tomlin decision was not all on you.
Also interview Arthur Smith?
No, we did not hire.
Somebody interviewed him as head coach.
Not as a head. Oh, Tennessee did. But he's also interviewing to be the OC for the Chargers.
I think he's trash.
True, but again, McCarthy should not be the head coach by any means necessary. No questions asked. He is a miles below head coach to what Mike Tomlin was. And he's already done in the NFL, and we already know he is not that good of a head coach. If you go hire a young guy, at least there's some hope that he can turn into the head coach you need him to be in the future. Mike McCarthy, we know what he is. He is mid as fuck as a head coach. So I just don't want it to be anywhere near that. And if you hire him, I think Steeler fans will revolt, and they'll be very insanely mad about that. But I think the three options that are like the three highest ones, Chris Shula, who is the DC for the Rams. He's like 31, 32 years old. He's pretty young. but they say he's a very good defensive mind as a head coach. The other options were Nathan Shieldhouse, who was the OC for the Rams, which he's very young. I'm not sure if you want to go that route. It might be a little too. He's like 30. And then the other one was, I think it was, for the DC for the Vikings.
I know a lot of people.
Come on, it's the one guy. Come on.
Yeah, say that again, Jeff. If I don't know him, that means he's a random.
It's freaking why Brian Flores. He's also an option. I wouldn't hate him because he's no defensive minded head coach, but he's younger, and I think he'll have a chance to be able to kind of reform the defense. Again, you'll have to get a good offensive coordinator to be on the other side, but I think as a head coach, he wouldn't be terrible, even though he doesn't know how to deal with people for the most part. But yeah, that's about it. So there's going to be plenty of coaches that have to be hired. Of the ones left, you still think the Raiders is the worst?
That's the worst job, dude. You keep a GM that drafted Genty at 7?
Mm-hmm.
He can't draft.
How about the Browns, who still owe Deshaun Watson over $100 million guaranteed?
That's a team that I can't see going anywhere. Your best players are getting older, so I don't know where you're going.
And they kept their GM.
No, not going there. 100% not going there.
I think the Browns is worse because at least they don't have any chance of getting better.
You know what their GM can do? He can draft.
He drafted Shador, and he drafted the other quarterback.
One of those was not his thing. He drafted Gabriel. The other one was not his decision.
Fine, but he still drafted Gabriel. Gabriel's ass too.
He also drafted Quinton Judkins.
Fine, cool, great, yeah.
He can draft pretty well.
I don't think it's as good as you think, but again, especially when you have
Schwarzinger, their linebacker.
That's a good pick. No, I'll give you that. But again, even Browns fans aren't necessarily convinced about him as a GM either. So I would still probably put the Browns as the worst one because they have their money situation is trash. But otherwise,
Mason Graham, another great pick.
They traded up for him.
Again, it worked. Carson Schwarzinger, Quinton Judkins.
Sorry, no, they traded down. Never mind. They have an extra first-round pick this year.
They do, and they
never mind.
Fine. Harold Fannin Jr.
Fannin was a good pick. Okay, fine. Better GM than the other ones. Okay, fine, cool. All right, well, so that's
Dylan Sampson. He was also pretty good. He was a good secondary back. Damn, I think Shador was their last pick.
So would you still consider the Ravens as the best job on the board?
No, because I feel like a lot of coaches aren't sold on Lamar.
Fine, yeah, no,
in a way that I would start questioning him.
I don't know. I just feel like he's, again, at least they have a quarterback is a top 10-ish guy, 5-10-ish guy, when healthy. So I do think that is probably the best job left. I do think you walk in with the pressure of you have to go win a Super Bowl right away. So I do think that's maybe a little bit of a negative. But outside of that, I do think Baltimore is kind of like the most ready-made situation. The fact they have not hired anybody yet makes me think they're waiting for somebody that's on a Super Bowl, on a team that's still playing. So maybe that's why they haven't hired anybody as it, because they've been kind of sitting for a minute, and they're the best job out there. So I think there's plenty of coaches that are out there willing to take the job right away. So I would say Baltimore 1 that's left, and then I'll put Pittsburgh 2, and then probably the Raiders 3 as the 3 best ones. But it's just, again, I still contend Harbaugh kicking himself. He took the Giants job over the Bills. Again, he didn't know that the Bills was going to come open.
Again, I don't think so. We have to agree to disagree on that.
Okay, you don't agree, but if you had to put yourself in Harbaugh's mind, would you think that if he had both opportunities right now, he wouldn't take the Bills over the Giants?
I still think he'd take the Giants because the Giants have stuff going forward.
Okay.
In a way that the Bills, like I said, have grown stagnant. Where are we going from here?
True. And they still have a decent.
You still have a
GM to deal with.
Doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Oh, funniest thing. Last thing before we get out of here. Harbaugh going to the Giants. He had it written into his contract that he has final say on the roster, and that he doesn't answer to the GM. He's going straight to the owner. and they asked the GM specifically, like, "Hey, dude, he also got a promotion too, but they asked him about it. He's like, no, that's just a writing on a piece of paper.
Are the Bills
it doesn't
doing that?
matter, huh?
The Bills doing that? Fuck no. Fuck no.
That's true.
Like I said, he has full control of that team.
That's true.
The Bills are not giving him that.
No, I agree. But again, it was just funny about the GM saying, like, hey, it's just words on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. We're working together.
The Giants, they're letting that GM go in a fucking heartbeat over Harbaugh.
Yeah, but they kept him anyway, though.
Because that GM can draft. He had a good draft. He's had several good fucking drafts.
He's, again, I don't think good enough to where you shouldn't have
Dexter
fired
Lawrence.
him.
Drafted him. Kayvon Thibodeau. Drafted him. Almost every play on that draft, on that defense besides Brian Burns was drafted by the Giants.
Yeah, but don't you think they overdrafted at one position they probably didn't need?
Don't you think it kind of worked out for him now? Because now all you got to do is go draft.
Yeah, but now you're going to have to end up paying them all, and now you're going to have to start letting them go one piece at a time.
They don't. They paid both Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns.
Yeah, but what happens when the newest first-round pick they just use on a defensive end?
Watches porn during meetings. I don't foresee him being in the NFL very long. He's kind of dog shit. He also drafted Malik Neighbors. Oh, and Scatterboo, who turned out to be way fucking better.
Neighbors fell into their lap. I might want to give him credit for that. Scatterboo, I'll give him, though. Scatterboo was a good pick.
They fell in their lap.
Again, he will only last for 5 years max.
I agree. Real quick, he dislocated his ankle, and with a running back really didn't have that much burst anyway. That's pretty detrimental.
Yeah, for sure.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But again, it was a good fucking pick.
I get it.
Dude was a bowler all postseason in college football, and they got him in the fucking third round.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's a good fucking pick.
But ultimately, my question is that when things start getting hard, those two are not going to be on the same page by any means.
No,
they're gonna end up firing the GM.
That GM is gone.
Pew. Which I'm like, then why the fuck are you keeping him around then?
Because I think he can draft.
He can, but I'm just saying, like, you've already created a problem amongst the two spots where you have to have symmetry.
I don't think it'll matter in the end.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe they'll be best friends. I fucking doubt it because it's Harbaugh. I fucking doubt it. But it is what it is. But that's everything, man. That's all we have. We don't have any other spots to talk about as of right now. We're going to do another pod later on this week when we do the preview of the championship games in the AFC and the NFC. But then that's pretty much it. So we don't have anything else to go. So we'll go ahead and end the podcast here. If you've been listening for a while, we appreciate you. If you're just now jumping on, hopefully you like us and enjoy us enough to join us on this ride of talking about sports in the dumbest way possible. And if you do like us and enjoy us, we would appreciate if you could like our podcast, subscribe to the podcast, rate the podcast 5 stars wherever you listen to us. We're pretty much available on all audio platforms out there, so we should not be any issue finding us wherever you want to listen to your podcast at. Make sure you share us with friends, family, enemies, anybody you feel like could enjoy the podcast we put out on a weekly basis, with it being 2 times a week during the football season. We would love if you can do that. And then last but not least, if you can follow us on X and or Twitter, whatever you'd like to call it. At JB Sports Pod is the podcast handle. At Javante Boozer is my handle. And at Jace Boozer 1 is Jace's handle. And I'll hand it over to Jace so we can finish off the pod.
This has been Jace Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for always listening. You guys have a nice day, a nice night. Goodbye.
Bye. See y'all in a few days.